find out.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to SimPlay Motorsport here for round number 8, week number 8 of the Pro Championship here at Imola. A bit cloudier today than last night, but we're seeing some fantastic lap times coming in. Mezin and Cairns both already, as well as Ben Rook now, into that 1 minute 40 area. What a night this could be of fast-paced action. I have a feeling we're going to be touching the 39s in qualifying, coming up a little later on in the show. But we'll see what Mezin is able to do. The track is still fast as well at the moment as we head in towards that first sprint race of the season. But I'm pleased to say that I'm not on my own for this week. I am joined by our second American of the week. We've got Tanner Kneebone joining us after his heartbreaking race last night due to disconnection with the Wi-Fi. Good evening, Tanner. Hope you're well. Are you over last night yet at all?
No.
Will you ever be over last night?
No. It's hard to throw away a 10-second lead of something out of your control.
It is indeed. The championship standings, before me and Tanner get on a little bit more, look like this. Ben Rook on 760 points, leads from Vitas, who's on 737.5. Schmidt is P3 on 718.5 before Mezin 637.5. Patrick Leger, Radic, Marinic, Mackenzie, Comore, Sokolov round out your top 10. Mike Matthews, Ian McGowan, Overtaker, Cairns, Millicent, Pletasek, then down to 16th place. They can all still win the championship mathematically. Gleeson and Skunky no longer can. And in the Gold Championship, it is only 23 points that separate Class from Harris, and there is no Class here tonight. He is away, so that will be shortened, and he's already got a drop score of 0, so Class has really got to hope for some work to be done in the future weeks from himself. Hibbs is P3. He's only 128.5 points behind Class, but a good night for Hibbs here tonight, and so far has the pace. Currently running in P8, could see him jump up that leaderboard a little bit more, and he's quicker than Harris. Some Maple points back there as well. Cordno P4, he's not here tonight, sadly. Richie Michel is P5 from Messinio, Gillies, Manavola, Matt Wright, Maiga, Varga, DeCourt, Vasic, Jimenez, Ugoni, and Langley. They can all still win the championship. Rob Smith, Ramsell, and Gluhak cannot. In the Teams Championship, there are still 13 teams who are up for this championship at the moment, and it is the BAL Racing drivers of Harris and Ben Rook who lead the way, nearly 200 points clear from Balkan Esports. So really are looking like they can try and maybe consolidate that position tonight with a good result here at Imola for the pair of them. Racing Softs are P3, Racing Softs are P2. Sorry, I've got that in the wrong order, and they are only 165 points behind BL Racing. Balkan Esports then a P3, then it's Greasy Bandits Racing who are 4th place in this one as well. So Greasy Bandits, good season in Pro-Am and Pro. Cloud9 a P5, from then the Balkan Simub, Sleepy Lizard Repsol Racing, Balkan OZ Racing, SimPlay Racing, Team KSC Squadra Corsa, Team Richards Corsa, the Casuals, Quantum Motorsport are the last team that can win this Constructors' Championship. The Flying Dutchman, only Momentum Motorsport, NS Spinners and Bearded Racing all cannot win it so far. We've got 3 minutes left of practice, Tanner, and me and Gillies and me and Langley said last night on commentary that very difficult place to overtake, easy to defend around Imola. Are we going to see a bit of that tonight? We know the pro drivers all season have been sort of more patient, let's say, than the Pro-Am drivers at times. Do we think we'll see a bit of that tonight, or do we think we're going to be in for a 15-minute sprint like we saw last night?
It's most likely going to be like a 15-minute sprint like last night, but you feel free to see, or most likely we'll see people dive into the pits to get overtakes through that way, because having clean air around here is king, especially during qualifying, and I'm guessing these guys would rather have clean air than following somebody that's quicker than them.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's going to be an interesting one to see what qualifying will provide. And I think the strategy, like last night, we saw a lot of drivers pit at the end of lap 1 in that sprint race, and it seemed to work for a few. Kieran Argent was one as well who did that and come away with a podium, so it could be interesting to see what he can do. Good evening to Chris, Sebastian, Gary Clarbel. I noticed he's changed his name in there now, so I'm not calling him Cherry Moore anymore, and Class as well. Good evening to you all. Hope you're all doing very, very well. Remember, if you are new to this channel, do hit the thumbs up button and subscribe if you are new. We are fast approaching 1,200 200 subscribers on the channel. We've got 3 weeks left, and with some exciting things planned in the off-season and ready for the new championship starting around about June time. So that'll be the interesting one to keep our eyes on there. But with 3 weeks left, Tanner, we've got Valencia and Donington Park coming up for yourself left in Pro-Am. Obviously tonight we've got to get through Imola. 2 different circuits really to end the season, isn't it? We kind of go to from tonight, Valencia and Donington Park, 3 different circuits in their own right, and you can't really keep in a rhythm because every circuit's going to provide its own different challenges. Next week's a motorbike circuit, so for these drivers and yourself in Pro-Am, it's really going to be a different test.
Yeah, because you're going from this track was most likely a GT3 track. I don't think you can consider this a Formula 1 track. This is a GT3 track. Then you go to Valencia, which you said before is a motorbike track, and then you go to Donington, which is more of a sports car or a touring car track, which with slower cars, bigger racing, or it's just it's a smaller track. Everybody's gonna be you're gonna be bumper to bumper pretty much the entire time. It's just a different discipline for every track.
And that's the unique thing about what the end of this season is going to provide us. Marinich has gone to the top of the timing standings. The BMW looks the car to be in around Imola, doesn't it? It has been a dominant car. We said this last night. We kind of knew it going into it based off of the other season. It looks like the BMW is going to be a formidable car around here. What advantages does the BMW have at this circuit that the other cars just can't quite match?
It's the way it takes the curves. It's one of the best cars to take the curbs. I think the only car that you can say handles it better is the Merc, but it's not by much around here. Plus, the top end speed of the BMW is also really nice for the nice and long front straight we have here on the start finish.
Indeed. So let's see what will happen then at this legendary, iconic Imola circuit as we get ready to go into that sprint race. A few drivers just finishing their last laps. We're on board with Richie Michel, just dropping down in towards Aqua Minerali for his final lap. Good evening to Gillies in the chat, who joined us in the box last night. It looks a pretty tight grid. If you're looking sort of second down to 9th, maybe even 11th, and then, you know, from 12th downwards, it's again pretty tight. Benny Volger only 8/10 off that 12th mark. Gluhack, I don't think, has got a proper lap time on the board. Mackenzie definitely hasn't got a proper lap time on the board. Around here, Nissan should be all right. Front engine car, quite a big stable, quite a big piece of machinery that Mackenzie's got to handle, similar to the BMW. Lexus as well for Harris and Vasic. That could do, you know, a few bits here tonight at Imola. Yeah,
and also you should be watching out for that McLaren as well, just because how well it takes care of its tires. In the first 15 to 20 minutes, the McLaren's gonna be on the back foot, but near the end of that stint, you're gonna see that McLaren start to rocket up the field.
As we're getting a question in the chat from Gillies, from Class, sorry, saying, Mathew, do you think I'm getting promoted for next season from gold to platinum? Yes, I do.
Yes.
Not only does the champion get promoted, you've even typed it. Not only does the champion get promoted, so if you win the championship, you will be promoted. But I think your race pace this season, Class, is good enough for platinum. As we get onto the grid then, the grid order for tonight's race is Cairns from Overtaker on the front row of the grid. Mike Matthews will start P3, so 3 big front engine cars at the front. Sokolov is P4 from Comore in 5th. Mackenzie down in 6th from Marinich, who will be alongside Radic. Patrick Lizet is alongside Mezin. Watch for him to come through the field. Schmidt with Vitas, and Ben Ruck will be in 13th place, the last of the platinum drivers. He lines up alongside the first of the gold drivers, Gluhack in his Aston Martin. Then it is his teammate Vasic from Benny Varga, Maiga from Matt Wright, Manavola from Gillies, Messinio from Richie Michel, Hibbs from Michael Harris. Good evening to Neil Broom in the chat as well. Hope you're doing well, buddy, as we get ready to go racing here at Imola for the first time of the night. What would be the 13th race of the season before round 14 in just a few moments' time. We then had 15, 16 at Valencia and 17 and 18 at Donington Park. 18 instead of 20 due to the 2 90-minute races that we had in store earlier this season at Indianapolis and at that of France. Kyle Army.
Kyle Army.
That's
there
the
it
one.
is.
Yeah. them two.
We're professionals here.
We are professionals, apparently, so they keep telling us. But yeah, so we've got them two coming up, which is going to be great to see. That's going to be fantastic to have a look at and see what we can get out of them. But yeah, they should be a fantastic night in store for everybody. I'm trying to find something and I can't see it anywhere. So I don't know where I've saved that, so I'll have to leave the old Patreon screen up. Before we show the Patreon pledges at the end. But we're getting on the formation lap now. Who do you think's taking this one? Harris, Tanner, who do you think's going to take this one in gold, in platinum? Who do you think's going to win overall? Very difficult to say in these sprint races. I'd like to say Cairns for the overall race win, but Overtaker's not going to be a slouch into turn one.
No, and I hate to be a BMW bias here, but I feel like it's going to be one of the BMWs that's going to take the overall win. So, like, you have Cairns. Am I saying that name right? I'm probably saying the name wrong. Cairns, thank you. Matthews, Marinick, and then even Mazin. I will say your name wrong, so I apologize. For the overall win, just because the BMW in short burst here is just incredible. There's really no way to put it, and I'm pretty sure at the end of practice it was a BMW 1, 2, and 3. And then looking down in silver, you're looking at Varga, Matt Wright, and then maybe one of the Fords.
Yeah. Oh, Cherry Moore's changed his name in the chat as well. He's put more Cherry, so thank you, Clarball and Cherry Moore. You've both changed your name, so at least now I can tell who's who in the chat. He says, "Evening all, made life easier and upgraded my username tag. No offence to anyone, but let's see a non-BMW win tonight." I don't think there's a good chance of that, if I'm going to be honest with you.
In the feature race, I can see it, but not in the sprint race. I think the BMW is too strong in short spurts around here. Yeah, but I agree, Cherry. I would like to see a non-BMW win.
Do you know if... I've just read in the Discord, Radic says 39s in qualifying if it goes to optimum. Well, it is optimum, so we could possibly see that. I'd honestly like to see Schmidt, Rook, Vitas take a race win. Maybe even Leger. You know what, and Radic, I suppose. They're non-BMWs, but any of them as well. And for Radic, Leger, you know, I know if Mezin wins and Schmidt, they're just going to close in on Ben Rook and Vitas in this championship. They're just going to start to close that gap. Really, with this being as well the last week of drop scores, let's not forget that. It really is going to start to just tighten everything up a little bit going into Valencia and just start to make that championship just tick over a little bit more. I know Chris in the chat isn't hoping for that. He's going to be hoping for Ben to get 2 good wins. Craig Stothard and Gareth Hansen in the chat. Cairns for the win, they're saying. Hard to look past him in this first race. They've exited Ravazza and are heading down the start-finish straight to start this first race of the evening here in the Pro Series. Neil Broom says, "I'm going for Nissan." He's owed a win. Mackenzie has had a good season, so let's see if he can do it here tonight. Sprint race could be difficult, but we know what turn one can be like at any given circuit. It is a long run down to turn one, though, so let's see what happens. Here comes then that of Overtaker and Cairns. Good evening to Hypertech. John Gooday in the chat as I approach the start-finish line now to start the first race of this afternoon. And we are green and go before the start. Sorry, just after the start line, it is Mezin who gets a better start over Overtaker. That of the Mackenzie's Nissan. Look at him going 3 wide with Comore and that of Sokolov, it looked like. Gets on the grass a little bit under braking. Mike Matthews had a little look up the inside of Overtaker there. Couldn't do anything about it. Spinner in the background, and that is Benny Varga, who has already had a bit of drama coming through Tamburello. I can't even see Benny Varga on my timing tower. There he is. And yet, down to the back of the field, he's had a moment. Don't know if he got collected or what, but we'll see what happened. Comore then running up now in that P4 position when Varga goes through the timing tower. Good start from the front three. Sokolov just caught napping a little bit there. Mackenzie being caught by Marinic. Radic and Mezin already going side by side. There's a massive delay, says John in the chat. Let me try and fix that one quickly as well. I know why. That should be sorted now, John. Hopefully that is better for you now. I realise what I've done there and... I've sorted that one, so let me know if it's still massive, John, and if not, we'll get that looked at once again. But Radic at the moment stays ahead of Mezin. Big twitch there out of Aqua Minerari. This is going to allow Mezin the opportunity to have a look in towards the Variante Alta chicane. Can't do anything about it there. Patrick Leger waiting in the wings also. Further down the field, looks like Benny Varga's got himself back on the rear, and that is Comore, who has gone around out of the chicane. Gillies has also had to cut across it. And that is a shame for Como, running in a solid P4. Sokolov now side by side with McKenzie down in towards Ravazza. That leaves the door open for Marinic to have a look up the inside. Riding on board with Marinic at the moment. You can see it's very tight. Little bit of contact between the Nissan and the BMW. And McKenzie bails to the pit lane straight away. Already the strategy of pitting early. Mezin in, Leger in, Schmidt, Ben Ruck all coming into the pits. Maiger as well. And now Radic on the back of the BMW, who's a little delayed by the Nissan coming out of Ravazza. Tanner, what a crazy opening lap to this race we've seen.
Yeah, while everyone was pitting, Varga had another spin coming through the chicane, so the sprint race not going the way he thought he would.
It's not indeed, as Overtaker still within 0.8 of a second of Cairns. They haven't pitted. Mike stayed out, so did Sokolov, Marinic, Radic, Vitas is up to 7th. Vasic is leading in that gold category then in the Lexus. Messinho, Richie Michel. So a lot of front engine cars, bar Sokolov, Vitas and Marinic inside that top 10. And can Michel get on the back of the Mustang of Messinho? There's Gluhak, who's been overtaken by that of Manavola. He's down in 12th place now. Comor down in 13th after his spin at the chicane. Then Gillies and Benny Varga did stay out on track, but Mezin's done his stop. So's McKenzie, Leger, Schmidt and Maiger. Matt Wright and Ben Ruck now complete their pit stops. We'll wait till who comes out of the pits first. But Radic is keeping the BMW of Marinic honest here, and I suppose this is the bonus for that Porsche. It is good in the traction zones as Patrick Leger has ruined his sprint race. Stop-go penalty.
Especially in that Ferrari, that's really hard to pass, and that's good. Well, he's not going to be able to pass anybody now with the stop-go, but hey, what do I know? I'm only a silver driver.
Might not be next season, depending on your race. What Matt Wright thinks on your lap times at the moment, as McKenzie has came out ahead of Mezin. So it's McKenzie, Mezin, then it would have been Leger, Schmidt, Ruck, Wright, Maiger, Hibbs, Harris in that order for the pit. So Harris down that order in gold already behind a couple of drivers. Two more in, Marinic and Radic both pit, as Richie Michel getting closer to the back now of Messinho. Messinho though closing in on that Lexus, although the Lexus is going to stretch its legs. Como, that's a second spin, isn't it? Oh, and he's got big damage on the front end of that Honda, so he's had a spin and hit something. That could be a long pit stop for him, and Cairns has opened that gap up to 1.3 seconds to overtake it. And he's on his way in this one. Vitas gaining on Sokolov, and Sokolov kicks up the gravel on the outside of Villeneuve. Then that fight between Messinho, Vasic and Richie Michel. But so far, again, a bit like last night as Michel looked for a late dive there. Little bit of chaos and drama already in this first race.
Yeah, especially expected half the midfield or people in the middle of the pack to box first lap just to get clean air, get out of the chaos, and just start doing their own pace here. And I see our Overtaker, Mathew, Slogta, or again, I'm going to mispronounce your name, Vitas, and everybody else has yet to pit. I see them coming. They probably won't come in until the final lap. I feel like if you have clean air, you got to keep it and try not to mess with it at all, because racing at this track will lose you seconds, not tenths.
Well, Mezin has got clear of McKenzie, and he's also jumped that of Marinic and Radic in the pit stops then, as there was McKenzie just dropping a wheel on the dirt. Now Marinic is having a look back on Mezin, still with McKenzie just in the background. You've then got Schmidt and Ruck just behind. There's Matt Wright as well, who is, I believe, net leader in the golds out of all the pit runners at the moment. So Matt Wright looking to get another race win. He won back at Snetterton. We didn't stream that one, sadly, but he won back at Snetterton a few weeks ago in the sprint. Can he do the same here? We've now got that of Sokolov and Richie Michel into the pit lane. 6/10 Messinho to Vasic, but that Lexus is so good in a straight line, I don't think it's going to matter. Where is Harris? He's behind Hibbs still, with Gillies in between them. Crucial for the championship, and crucial that Harris can pick up a few more spots in this race, because he'll want to get points over class. He needs to score big over class tonight to put a bit of a stamp his authority in this championship fight with the current gold leader, as Radic late on the brakes, nearly into the back of McKenzie there. A bit of a slide as he comes out. Stop go cleared for that of Patrick Leger. He hasn't gone a lap down, thankfully. Oh no, he has gone a lap down, but the leaders have still got to pit, so he could unlap himself here. Sokolov has done his stop. Richie Michel has just done his stop. And this is Mezin, the lead pit runner, who goes very wide out of Ravazza there. Over the gravel. It's not going to cost him a position. But is he going to be able to get the jump over Sokolov and Richie Michel? That'll be the big question to ask in this race. Yeah, very clear. Even with Sokolov off the limiter, he gets through there. What about Matt Wright over that of Richie Michelle? Michelle's just come off the limiter now, but he'll be slow to get away. Where does he appear? There he is, and Matt Wright does get ahead of him, so Matt Wright keeps hold of that net gold lead. He's just got to keep Michelle behind him now. Easy to defend around here, though, Tanner. So for Matt Wright, you feel, as Mackenzie's been off, he's actually just lost out there to Ben Rook and to that of Schmidt. So just notice that one. Matt Wright should be able to feel that he can strongly defend around this circuit over the likes of Richie Michelle.
Yes, and Vashic's coming into the pit lane as well to see where he rolls out in the gold category. Casino, Malabone, I will mess up names all night.
Don't worry about that one. I do it for work every single race, buddy, so don't worry about that one. Pop Motorsport channel, great comms from the commentary box. Cheers to everyone on the stream. Great racing. Go Vasic and Glowak. Thanks for the nice words. Pop Motorsport channel, really do appreciate that one. As here comes Hibbs on the back of Mygo. Overall race winner, not just gold race winner, overall race winner last time out. And don't worry about the names because I do it for work all the time, so you're absolutely fine there. As Ben Rook gaining on Schmidt just a little bit in the background as Ben was sliding through Variante Alta, gaining on the back of Schmidt's Honda, which he might be able to do something about down the start straight. Matt Wright's gaining on Mackenzie, how he'd love to put the Platinum driver between himself and Richie Michelle. That'd be an absolute crucial one for Matt Wright here. Moving forward nicely at the moment. Hibbs on the back of Michael, like we said, still. And Vasic leaving the pit lane now. Where is Matt Wright in terms of Vasic? Vasic still in that... Oh, he's well in that pit lane by quite some margin. So, yeah, Matt Wright has taken that position nice and comfortably. It also puts Richie Michelle and Myga on the podium. So Hibbs, Myga, Gillies is now within that second, and Harris isn't far behind. Are all fighting now for that final podium spot in that gold category in this race. Ben Rook getting closer to the back of Schmidt. When do we see the leaders in? Cairn stays out. Overtaker stays out. So does Mike Matthews. Vitas has now come into the pit lane. Messinio's going to stay out, as is Manavola. No, Manavola decides to pit. Gluhak running in 7th. Does he think about boxing now? No, he does not. And just Benedict Varga left. What's the differences by going long? I suppose if you're going to go long here, Tanner, you've got to go to sort of the penultimate lap, haven't you? Or just before you start the final lap?
Yes, because you're going long, you're looking to keep any type of clean air and clean track you have, and just literally, I can't say that. Keep your foot down on the floor and just running as basically 9 qualifying laps as back to back to back to back as fast as you can. You don't care about tire wear, don't care about fuel. You're just trying to get to the pretty much the 15-minute mark as fast as you can, and you're trying not to fight anybody at it too. So going along, especially for overtaker, I can't. You're trying to get to the end. Actually, I need to know his first name. I'm gonna keep mispronouncing this guy's last. William, I feel like should box now and not mess with any blue flags. Just go in the box and try not to mess with anybody. You're trying to run as cleanly as possible, not try to pass anybody.
Well, the bonus for Vitas here is he's came out the pit behind Mezin, but ahead of Sokolov, so he's got 2 cars between himself and behind Marinic, apologies. No, he's ahead of Marinic. So he's got Marinic, Sokolov, Schmidt and Ben Rook. So he's got then 1, 2, 3 cars between himself and his closest championship rival. Did Matt Wright get ahead there of Manavola? Yes, he did. So Matt Wright still leads in that gold championship. Radic has got Mackenzie on the back of him. Radic has got damage to his car, so he must have had a drama somewhere. And it looks like Keynes was listening to you because he has boxed now to get himself into that pit lane. So we'll see where Mezin will appear over Keynes in just a few moments' time. I found out why there is an issue with the commentary being a bit behind the sound at times. It keeps buffering the stream for some reason, so it's just delaying the stream coming through the Streamlabs, so it's putting our voice ahead of what the stream is. So apologies for that one. I'm going to keep looking at that and making sure that it stays up to its correct time. Marinic still on the back of Vitas. Ben Rook still hassling the back of that Honda, who really bounces over the very anti-alta curbs, but Ben can do nothing about it. Marinic has passed Mackenzie. Sorry, Mackenzie has passed Radic. Apologies, wrong names there. What's happened, Tanner?
Miston to be close coming out the pit lane here.
48, that's Gillies who's had a moment. That's coming down towards... That's on the exit to the chicane. So let's take a look at Cairns. Where is he? There is Cairns coming out the pit lane. Where is Mesin? He's right there. It's not as far away as it probably was before Mesin pitted. So Cairns has, I think, one more lap, you know, with Mesin having some clear air. And he'd have probably been a bit even closer to Cairns in this race. But 3 minutes for Cairns to hang on. Marinic on the back of Vitas. Rook needs to find a way past Schmidt here. He just cannot seem to get away past him. He's not close enough. And then with Gluhak in the pits, Matt Wright has taken that net lead back of the gold race so far. So looking for yet another race win in gold. And he's pulling away from Richie Michel and getting closer to the back now of Radic. Further down the field, Hibbs having a look up the inside of Miga. Can't do anything about it due to Gillies' spin. That's put Harris up another position then. So Harris on the back of Hibbs. Crucial for the championship here, 16th and 17th overall. This is the fight for third place in gold at the moment, though, between these three. So really is crucial that Harris gets through. Car off in the background at Tozer. That is Manavola, who loses out to Gillies, and Gluhak and Comor may also get ahead here. Manavola gets back going before they come out the corner, though. Oh, Gluhak aggressively chops the nose off of Comor there, trying to get to that inside line. Back towards the front, though. 2 seconds between Mesin and Cairns. Overtaker has just done his pit stop and he's on his way out. Good evening to Swindlemac in the chat. Hope you're doing well, buddy. So Overtaker's on his way out. Undercut potential from Cairns here. Mike would have been hoping to keep hold of that podium, but I think where Mesin is going to be difficult for Mike to keep hold of that podium spot. Here comes Cairns then down towards the timing tower. When is Overtaker and Mike off the limiter? Nowhere near for Mike Matthews. Cairns and Mesin have done identical lap times. Did Mesin get the pair of them? Yes, he did. Through he goes. Vitas may get Mike Matthews in this race with the undercut. Yes, he has. What about Marinic? Yes, he has as well. So a nightmare for Mike there, being undercut by 3 drivers, Mesin, Vitas and Marinic. And Cairns and Mesin sharing the fastest lap at the moment. It will go the way of Cairns. He set it first in terms of the points. And Ben Rook within a tenth of Schmidt. Vital for this championship, especially now that Vitas has got ahead of Mike Matthews.
Yeah, Miskin caught 4/10 last lap somehow. It was 2 seconds. Now it's down to 1.6. So the race for first isn't over yet. I don't know if he can do it in less than a minute, but one mistake from Will.
Yeah, sorry to cut you off there. A moment for Hibbs. He's had a yellow flag there. I'm just checking for any damage on the front of Harris's car. Can't see anything. Did Hibbs just have a moment on his own? And he's just had another one hitting the sausage curb, and off he goes. So in a chance where he can try and pull back championship points, he's not going to be able to. Manavola's in the pits. He'll be gaining over Class, but won't gain over Harris. Loads of cars between them two now. And Harris will love to get ahead of Miga. Matt Wright still leads in that gold championship fight. Ben Rook still on the back of Schmidt in this one. Schmidt very slow through the chicane, and Ben gets an almighty run, but just cannot get alongside, cannot get past him. Mike Matthews on the back of Marinic for P6. Messino is in the pit lane, and we are going to get one more lap in. Gaps down to 1.4 seconds. So Cairns will be hoping that Mesin doesn't close in on him on this lap.
Back up to 1.5 crossing the start-finish line. Vitas is catching up to Overtaker as well for the last spot on the podium in the overall.
And on board with Ben Rook now. Let's see if he gets closer to Schmidt. Under braking, no, he does not. So Ben stays behind Schmidt for the time being. Radic and McKenzie within a second, and Matt Wright actually get behind. Harris has got past Miga, so Harris moves up to P3 in that gold championship. Remember, points are scored for overall position, and he actually gets an extra place because he got ahead of... No, he hasn't got ahead of Messinio. So Messinio is on that podium spot. So a good long run for Messinio in this race, and he has managed to possibly nick that podium at the very end. Manavola still in the pits after his spin that he had. So Harris would love to get past Messinio for 14th place. Ben Rook, though, still close to the back of Schmidt, but can't do anything.
Patrick Leger now having the race he wanted. He spun again on the chicane.
Got a feel for Patrick, because that could possibly take him out of championship contention. But towards the final corner we go. Cairns is going to take a lights to flag victory. Pretty nice BMW 1-2.
Yeah, I hate to be wrong, or I hate to be correct. I hate being correct when it comes to stuff like this. Yeah, the BMW is just too quick on these short bursts around this track.
Well, here comes Cairns towards the line, and Cairns will win the first race of the night. He takes a likes to flag victory. Mezin will come across for that P2. Overtake a P3. Great to see him back on the podium. It's been a while. Vitas will take a solid P4 from Mike Matthews. From Marinich, Mike Matthews. Sokolov P5 from Schmidt, who finishes ahead of Ben Ruck. Mackenzie P10. Radic down in 11th. Matt Wright wins in gold once again. Good job from Matt Wright there, fending off that of Richie Michel. Messinio hangs on for that P3 from Michael Harris. Miga P16 in P3 in class, let's not forget, not overall. Miga P16, Vasic 17th, Gillies 18th, Comore, race to forget for him. In fact, is he going to lose out to Hibbs here? I thought Hibbs was a little closer there, but he doesn't. Comore 19th, Hibbs 20th, Varga 21st, Gluhack will come home for 22nd, and then it will be Patrick Leger and Manavola to round out the final spots. But Ben Ruck there losing some points over his championship rival. That's just going to bring the gap a little bit closer once again.
Yeah, and I was surprised by the amount of I'm going to say mental mistakes around here.
Yeah.
Definitely people pushing a lot more than I thought they or I know it's a sprint race and you're going to be pretty much going flat out, but it's just simple mistakes that cost people way too much time. Like one, spinning at the chicane. It's just these small little mental mistakes that around here cost you tenths, half a second, a full second.
And that's the problem, isn't it, around here? It's that mental side of things that you've got to get right before, you know, things start to go really wrong for you, you know, in the race. And that mental thought process of doing the race now changes because you're going back into that into the next race, which is an hour long. So you've got to keep that sort of mental strength for the whole hour.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how people change their setup as well to either make it more edgy or to maybe make it a bit more oversteery to make it more consistent,
Yeah.
more predictable, more safe. Is who's willing to make that little more that risk for that extra tenth or the extra little consistency to be able to win the race.
That's it. Right, we're going to take a very short break, or 10-minute break to be precise, and we'll be back in a few moments' time. Welcome back to SimPlay Motorsport, ladies and gentlemen, as we get ready to do qualifying. The Gold drivers have just started their first flying lap of the session. And Neil, don't worry, you haven't missed a single thing. Who's on the brake screen, as I see there. That's my boy. It's all the driver, mate. Not a car, says Rosowski. Stothard telling him to force an interview with Cairns. Feels like it takes Honda a couple of laps to get tyre pressure so hard in a 15-minute race. Either way, the championship standings look a little like this. Ben Ruck 8.15 over Vitas's 8.07.5. Gaps closed a little bit more. Schmidt on 7.76.5, so not a million miles away. Mezin 7.16.5 in this one. Marinic is P5 at the moment. He's a little further back. Radic P6 from Patrick Leger. With Mackenzie, I just realised I have missed something, and that is to delete this number at the bottom, because then that'll tell us if anybody else is now no longer able to win the championships. But yeah, Leger from Mackenzie P7 and 8, Sokolov P9, Comore 10th, Mike 11th, Overtaker 12th from Cairns and McGowan. Milliston and Pletzek no longer can win the championship, neither can Gleeson or Skunky. In gold, it is now Harris who leads the way from class, with Hibbs in third. 100 points behind class, but has now fell to 115 points behind Harris. Cardno is fourth from Richie Michel. Messinio, Gillies, Matt Wright, Manavola, Maiga, Benny Varga, DeCourt, Vasic, Jimenez, Ugoni and Langley can no longer win the championship, and then it is Rob Smith, Gluhack and Rob Ramsell. In the constructors, only 11 teams can now win it, but BAL Esports are now further clear of Balkan, BAL Racing are further clear of Balkan Esports. Racing Softs from Greasy Bandits in P4. Cloud9 from Balkan Sim Hub. Sleepy Lizard, Repsol Racing, Balkan OZ. SimPlay Racing, Team KSE Squadron Corsa around at the top 10. Team Richie's Corsa, last team who can win it. RP11 from Quantum Motorsport. The Casuals, Momentum, Flying Dutchman, Only Momentum, NS Spinners and Bearded Racing. Remember, drop scores, last week of drop scores this week tonight. So this will provide a few drivers who aren't here, who do not have 0 as their lowest score, to maybe get another drop score in the bag, or to get 0 as their drop score, should I say, in the bag, ready to go. But qualifying underway, and so far some of the lap times coming in. Harris 0.6 of a second quicker than the others out there at the moment.
Yeah, crap. Sorry. There's one. Yeah, looks like Harris is really comfortable in that Lex is going through here. He's abusing every curb that he's allowed to abuse and not have a lawsuit against him. But yeah, it looks like he's very comfortable in that Lexus, especially since that Lexus is a handful in the corners. Matt Wright's probably still trying to get those tires up the temp, because I do know that car takes a lap or two before it gets it gets serious.
Being told that the game doesn't sound great, so just bear with me, because I can't actually hear the game. So I don't know what is.
It could just be the Lexus engine being terrible.
It could be. Tell me if it changes, Neil Broom, when I change cars. Here comes Harris once again towards the line before Matt Wright. Goes 8 tenths, nearly 9 tenths quicker now. Here comes Matt Wright. Goes up into second place. Next car, the 933 of Richie Michel. What will he be able to do? Goes up to second within 2 tenths now. Messinio. Let me know, Neil, if these cars sound any better. If not, I will take a look at it. Here comes Gillies towards the line. He goes up into P5. Benny Varga is the last one on a lap. Let me read that comment from Neil Broom there. So, game doesn't sound so... sorry, it was when you was on board. All right, fair enough. That's all right. No problem. Well, we've checked we're not on board anymore. But, yeah, hopefully that was just the Lexus is on board that sounded terrible.
Yeah, Vasic didn't improve, and let's see if Varga improves here. I don't think it looked a little messy. And he improves it by only a tenth.
Time to find then for Benedict Varga. I'd say Harris looks the most comfortable, but he's now got Richie Michel within 2.5 tenths of him, so he can't go too lightly. He's still got to find a bit of an improvement out there, hasn't he? Track temp up at 23 degrees, so it's a nice warm track for them. Not as warm as yesterday, but yeah, Harris just got to try and find that extra bit out of this car at the moment.
Yeah, so the temperature is definitely in the golden hour type of zone where you can find the most out of the track. Looks like Hibbs had a little. The rear end of his car was not happy with him going through the chicane, going around the second to last corner.
Well, let's see what happens to Harris as he's about to cross the timing tower once more in this qualifying session. Does he find an improvement? No, he does not. Can Matt Wright find any more than the half a second he is currently down? No, he can't. What about the 31 of Hibbs? He'd love to be up there. Does he find any more time? No, he doesn't. Richie Michelle gains another 10th and a quarter there, so gets even closer to Harris now. Harris has got to be on it. We're in the 40.9s in gold as Gillies moves into third place. What can Maiger do? Pretty tight qualifying. Top 5 separated by 6 tenths. Maiger puts it top 6 within 7 tenths. And now we wait for Vasic to come around in this session. Manavola hasn't gone out there. I believe that is because he has got a race or a qualifying ban to his name. Let me just double check that one. No, he doesn't. So Manavola can be out there, but he's not currently qualifying at this minute. Benny Varga invalidated his last run. And we just wait for Harris now. Gluak has left the service, so he won't be taking part in this qualifying session. Hopefully whatever's wrong he can get back in for the race. But at the moment, Harris is the man sitting top of the timing standings. And, yeah.
Yeah, from the looks like Harris is the only one with where the car is actually doing the things he wants it to. I don't see any wiggle of the rear end. The car's getting placed right where you want it to. Michelle's probably the next one, but I do see the rear end just slide out that little bit. That's probably costing him that 10th that he's behind right now.
Well, Gillies and Matt Wright have both invalidated on this lap. You can tell by the little light blue dots on the track map. So they won't go any faster this time around, but everybody will get one more qualifying lap in here in this gold session. And Harris doesn't find an improvement. Yeah, he might do indeed. Where is he? There he is. So yeah, maybe just a little one at the moment. Hibbs goes within 3 tenths. And Richie Michelle, there we go, top of the timing tower. So he does find the improvement. A 10th and a half quicker. And Messino goes up into P6. Here comes Maiger on another lap. So Richie Michelle has currently taken that provisional pole, which is an extra point, let's not forget. Maiger moves up into 5th now. What can Vasic and Benny Varga do? Can they get any closer in this session at the moment? But Harris now, he's got 1 lap to do it, and he's really got to nail this lap time.
Yeah, Vasic improves by a whole second, so 1.5 off the pole time. Let's see, can Varga get within the, hopefully within a second of the pole time? Does he improve? He does by only a 10th. So hopefully he can find a second to be a little bit closer to the top 7, and I think Vasic can find another 6 tenths, 6 and maybe 8 tenths in there. I wasn't gonna say 7.
Thank you for that one. Thank you for not saying 7. As Richie Michelle, by the way, is right behind Hibbs, so getting a lovely tow from Hibbs. The floodgates have opened out the pit lane, and the Platinum drivers have all come out onto the circuit. Gillies back into the pits. Messinio has invalidated. The 33 of Maiger has invalidated as well. And here comes Michael Harris. Is he up on his time to get another lap time on the board? No, Bales to the pit lane. So Michael Harris will not improve and will not get that extra point for pole. What can Matt Wright do now? Needs 6 tenths of a second to get pole. Half a second to put it on the front row of the grid. Has he found any time? He just goes up into 2nd place. Can Hibbs find an improvement? Move only up into 4th. Richie Michelle doesn't improve. And unless Vasic can do anything about it with 1.5 seconds, it looks like Richie Michelle's going to take the pole position here.
Yeah, let's watch Vasic through these last few corners. Can he get right on the curb how you want to? Here we go. Does he ride the inside curb? He does a little bit. I don't think he could have taken a bit more. But now he uses the strength of the Lexus, which is its top-end speed down the straight, which will be a pain to pass. I know from experience, but looks like he does find about 6 tenths.
Yeah.
Woo!
Yeah, exactly.
I was right about something.
Spot on to what you've just said, and he gets himself within a second there, so a good qualifying from everybody, and it looks like it is Schmidt, who is the first driver in Platinum to set a lap time. So Richie Michelle, pole position for him. So interesting to see there then what will be the case for Richie Michelle in this one. Will he, in terms of where will he be overall in the qualifying session when it comes to an end, as that could prove pivotal for his race. As Schmidt now starts his first flying lap. 8 minutes, 10 seconds left on the clock. You see the yellow flags flying in that final corner. That is for the drivers to just gap nicely between each other so that they can just have a nice run on their first flying lap without getting caught up by too many cars in front of them. As we get ready,
Yeah, around here you.
Oh, sorry, go on, Tanner.
Oh yeah. I was about to say around here you kind of want 3 to 4 seconds of clean air in front of you just so you can get the maximum downforce and the maximum grip out of your cars, especially if you're running the Honda or Ferrari being the most aerodynamic car in the game.
Indeed. Don't forget, if you are new to the channel, hit that thumbs up button, the bell to be notified, and subscribe if you are new, as we are approaching 1,200 subscribers. And go to our description below if you would like to join SimPlay or keep your eyes on any events coming up in the future. The Discord link should be in there down below. If not, I'll get that one pasted in the chat. Also, check out our fantastic sponsors, Design Manchester, producers of vinyl graphics, laser engraved gifts, mugs, printer clothing, and much more, including SimPlay Motorsport merchandise. Head over to their Facebook page of Design Manchester. Or Big Apple Logistics, who are the proud sponsor of the Pro Series, specialising in moving plant and heavy machinery globally and worldwide. So check them out as well on Facebook. And great qualifying so far for Richie Michelle. Close between them, 9 tenths separating the top 8. Here comes Schmidt though. First man in platinum to set a lap time. What will he do? Manavola will be at the back of gold, so we'll see what he can do in the races. Crosses the line. Schmidt only up to 7th. Here comes that of Patrick Leger towards the line. He only goes up into P10. Will take a couple of laps, Tanny. You obviously have to do this on a Wednesday night in the silver category. It will take a couple of laps for these drivers just to get the tyres up to temperature, up to pressure, before they can really start to set a respectable lap time.
Yeah, you expect these drivers to take possibly 2, maybe 3 laps to start pushing for their fastest time. So the last 3 to 2 minutes is going to be where we see these drivers possibly PB or PB set pole times. As expect everybody to increase their pole time by 6 to 8 tenths. I'm not saying that 7. No. Expect everybody to do about 3/4 of a second faster than what they just did on their first laps.
I'm glad you're not doing it. Langley would have been all over the 6-7 comment, but I'm glad you're not. As Mezin's actually gone second place outright on his first lap, so good lap that from Mezin. Schmidt has invalidated, so has Keynes and the 101 of Sokolov as Mackenzie moves up into 19th place. So let's go down and check out that of Patrick Leger, who has probably just invalidated there. Yes, he has. He was very wide on the exit to the chicane. Let's check out Ben Ruck now. He'll be the next man to set a valid lap. And the problem is now, Tanner, with these shorter qualifying sessions, obviously it used to be 15 minutes for everybody. It's now 10 minutes for each class. You've really got to make sure on a 1 minute 40 circuit like this, nearly 2 minutes a lap, you've really got to make sure you get them laps on the board and make them count.
Yeah, realistically, if you're the first person out of the pits in the 10 minutes, if you're the higher class, which is our platinum here, you have 6 laps to warm up your tires, get your eye in, and set the fastest lap you can. Realistically, you're only going to be able to push flat out for 3, maybe 2 of those laps.
Yeah.
It's all trying to get your tires in the right temperature range, make sure the pressures are right, make sure you have the least amount of fuel in your car, just because the extra kilogram of fuel you have in your car could cost you half the tenth, and knowing racing, half a tenth could be either a pole to 7th to 7th.
Indeed it could, as Marinich has taken that provisional pole at the minute by 95 thousandths of a second to Richie Michelle. He's a 10th clear though of Radic at the moment, as DXR KFN111 says go on GBR, so that'll be the Greasy Bandits racing team of Hibbs. He's cheering for out there. Gilly saying get them all to platinum. Cherry Moore saying feel like Vitas and Ruck might pull it out the bag. Well, let's see what happens to Mackenzie. The top 19 are within a second here as Mackenzie shoots up into P7. Top 20 now within a second. That is absolutely extraordinary from this field at the moment. It is so tight. This could be an epic race, hour-long race here.
Yeah, and it's you can say just goes, especially since passing's so difficult around here, is going to be pit strategy that's going to take the cake on how many positions you gain, how many positions you lost. Pit entry is going to be huge around here since it comes up so quick and the pit entry is really small. And it's in making sure you stop in your box at the right time. You turn off your car. you leave as soon as you possible. Taking tires are going to be a big thing tonight as well. Just do you want the fresh tires?
Well, that's it. It's a little bit cooler than last night, isn't it? As Ben Rook invalidated his last run. It's a little bit cooler than last night, so that's going to play a factor into it. Mike moved up to 11th, Schmidt up to 10th, Patrick Leger went up to 12th. Here comes Overtaker up into P8. Can Marinich pull clear any further in pole position? He does by 0.3 of a second. The 101 next up of Sokolov down in 19th place, just over a second off the back of the pole sitter now, comes towards the line. He's done his lap time and it stays within that second. Where's Mezin? 0.465 off the back of the pole sitter and goes to the top of the timing screen. Are we going to see that elusive 1 minute 39? We've got to find just shy of 0.5 of a second to see that one. As where is Mackenzie? He's 9th. He'll be the next man set up. And Schmidt, crucially, has once again invalidated. So he's going to have to try and do it all again on that final run while he's down in 12th place at the moment.
Yeah, invalidating on a track where you only get so many tries is such a mental drain. He just needs to slow. Literally, it sounds counterintuitive, but slow down and just focus on your braking markers. You don't need to worry about going any faster. You just got to be worrying about doing your time. If you do your time, you most likely or not will do your PV just out of the blue. That's how I have to do qualifying, and just do your time. Don't worry about trying to go faster.
Well, it's not just that of it's Leger, it's Ben Rook, it is Comore. A lot of invalid lap times at the moment. Schmidt stays P10, so not the lap for Schmidt. Sorry, stays P12. What can Mike Matthews do now? Will he be able to find any more pace? He does. Moves up into top 10. Half a second off the pole. Good lap from Mike. Can Overtaker do anything about this? Marinich just behind him. Only 43 thousandths of a second off of pole position. Everybody will get one last run in. Overtaker moves up to 7th. So far, Richie Michel, the gold pole sitter, will be starting in P6. Marinich did not improve. The 101 of Sokolov, the 229 of Keynes. Where's Keynes in this qualifying session, actually? He's down in 3rd place. Does he improve? He does. Goes provisional pole position. What can Mezin do, though, as Mezin's about to come to the line? He retakes pole by 0.3 of a second. That is incredible.
There's 39 in here it comes again. The BMW dominance around here. 1, 2, 3. I'm pretty sure we saw 3 BMWs in the top 4 last night as well.
We did.
Only with the one car being up there, being a McLaren. I can see
Sam Williams.
Yeah, I can see VTAS sniping, going up there. And he just stopped. Never mind. As soon as I say something. As soon as they say something, he stops on the side of the road to get.
Oh, there we go. Well, he's done. Well, Vitas will not be doing that one, as a 39 has been hit indeed, Gillies. I thought that was McGowan turning up while in his holes. No, I'm sure his YouTube account isn't that one, Neil, in the chat. As here comes then that of Schmidt. Can he get this last lap time in, and where will it put him on the grid? It's only up to P12. Patrick Leger next to the line. I've gone to Ben Rook by mistake. Here comes Patrick Leger. He now goes P12. What about Ben Rook? Mike on an invalid lap. Ben moves up into P4. The next one is the 77 of that of Overtaker, and crucially for Ben, he's put himself ahead of Vitas in this race. Here comes Overtaker. We've got 2 more cars on an invalid lap. The 98 of Radic. Overtaker stays 8th. What will Radic do in this session? Remember when it was top 20 separated by a second? Well, now it's only the top 13 separated by less than 1.1 seconds. Here comes Radic to the line. Last man on a qualifying lap because Mackenzie is invalidated. Here comes Radic. Does he improve? He does. Up into P7 for him. So Mezin takes pole position, and the BMW are dominating once again. 1, 2, 3. Better than last night, because Gary qualified in P4 if you was watching last night. But Mezin, that extra point for him, I tell you what, that puts him on to 717.5 points. Just puts him 97.5 points behind Ben Rook. And the more he starts to finish ahead of Ben, the more he just slowly, Tanner, starts to chip away.
Yeah. Now it comes to the interesting part of the pit strategy, like we said during qualifying. I'm going to be interested to see how many people pit early, right around the nearly 45-minute to 40-minute time left is when I expect the first people, the people that want to take the gambles to begin, especially in the cars that are really good on their tires, like the Ford Mustang or the McLaren 720S. those people in those two cars, I expect to pit as early as possible and just get the clean air and have the clean track and just push to the end.
Let's see what will happen. We have lost Manavola from this race, so obviously something wrong there for Manavola because he's not normally one to not qualify and things, so maybe some technical issues in this one. We did see him have a few spins in that first race, so hopefully everything's all right there for him. But your grid order then for the final race of the evening. Mezin alongside Cairns. Row 2 is Marinich and Ben Ruck. Row 3 is Mackenzie from Vitas. Row 4 is Radic and Richie Michelle, your gold pole sitter. Row 5 is Overtaker from Harris, with Mike Matthews on row 6 alongside Patrick Leger, his former teammate. Schmidt will be alongside Matt Wright, who qualified 3rd place in the gold class. Good qualifying for him to back up his race win earlier on in the night for gold. Hibbs is P15 from Comor, with Gillies alongside Maiger, Sokolov from Messinio, and Vasic and Benny Varga at the back of the grid. If you had to pick a race winner in this one, Tanner, who are you going for?
Overall, I don't want to be boring and pick the guy that had the 39.9, so I'll go P2 and Will. But my heart really wants the Nissan to win, just because I want to see Godzilla back on the top step. So McKenzie's has my overall race win, and for gold, I have to go with Michelle, because I will never pick a Lexus. That's nothing on Harris. I just every time I see the Lexus, my eye twitches.
I think Matt Wright could be in for the gold win.
If for Matt Wright to win, to be as nice as possible, he needs to be one of those early piss. If there's barring any chaos happening in lap 1, which this place has tended to do, especially turn 1, 2, and 3, with everybody's tires and brakes not being up to temperature, he needs to be one of those early pit stoppers and get the clean air, clean track, and just literally counterintuitive to everybody in this race lobby wants to do. They want to race somebody. Don't race. Avoid racing. I hate saying that, but you have to avoid racing around here.
I know what you mean. You've just got to play that patient game, bide your time, take your time, and go from there. Well, it is Mezin on pole from Cairns from Marinich, then 3 BMWs on the front row. Ben Ruck's got a big job here, because yes, Mezin is starting to just close in. He's still over 90 points behind Ben Ruck, so Mezin's not really Ben's focal point, is it? He's just got to stay ahead of Vitas, and that's kind of really got to be his goal at the moment, with going into what his 4 races left, 2 at Valencia, 2 at Donington Park. If he just finishes ahead of Vitas here, maybe pull some points back over what he had to Vitas in after race 1 tonight, you know, Ben can then look at that and say, I've still got a gap, I've still got a lead, I've just got to finish as close or in front of Vitas as possible.
Yeah, especially looking up the 2 next races at Valencia and Donington. I think the Lamborghini is going to be really strong in the next 2 weeks.
Yeah.
But literally, Ben Ruck can do nothing, finish ahead of Vitas, like you said, and just be happy with the weekend. As literally his job, he doesn't need to extend, he just needs to maintain the gap he has in the championship.
That's it. Yeah, that's all he's got to do. He's just got to make sure he just gets done what he needs to get done, and can be ahead going into the next couple of weeks, or going into whenever it will be into the next week at Valencia and then the week after at Donington. He's just got to stay as close to Vitas or ahead of Vitas as he possibly can. So let's keep our eyes on what will happen in this race, because this could be pretty crucial going into the next 2 weeks. Obviously no more drop scores will take place as from tomorrow, as from next week, so really is a crucial time for these drivers to make sure that they have a good night tonight.
Yeah. This could be, I'm gonna actually interested to see how many people let off the throttle here until lap 1, especially mid to backpack to avoid the turn 1, 2, and 3 chaos. Yeah. But I highly doubt there's gonna be any of that in this group of drivers.
Yeah, I know what you mean. It's going to be an interesting one, isn't it, to just see what will be the case then as they've come around the final corner. They're heading down towards turn number 1, and we're about to go green here at Imola for the second race of the night. It is green and go, and Mezin gets a decent start already, covers off that of Cairns going in towards turn number 1. And Keynes manages to fend off Marinic. That's Ben Rook who's having a look at the outside of Marinic, inside for the second part of Tamburello, and doesn't manage to get the move done. Looks like everybody's got through pretty cleanly. And look at the two BMWs out front pulling away early doors, as now here comes Godzilla in that Nissan of Mackenzie to the outside of Rook at the Villeneuve chicane. Can't get it done there. Vitas though, little wiggle, big wiggle, into the wall, clips it with the rear end, tumbles down the order. That is exactly what Vitas did not need, and exactly what Ben Rook did need. Vitas there, down to last, and has had another spin as he was on the grass, avoiding the cars rejoining. He's on the grass, he's had a spin, and for Vitas there, it has gone horribly wrong, as we say good evening to Yoshi in the chat.
I think Vitas has some wheel damage.
Crabbing a little bit.
Yeah, the front. I think his front right tow bar.
So there we go.
I'm looking on the board now, and
that could be crucial if he's got a pit at this stage.
Yeah, it's not much, but it's enough to be annoying.
Matt Wright was having a look there on Patrick Leger and towards the Variante Alta chicane. Harris is all over the back of Schmidt. You fancy that Lexus straight line speed to get the run on the Honda down the start finish straight. As Hibbs was a little loose, and that was Messinho having a late look up the inside of Hibbs there. He was a little squirrely down in towards Ravazza. But didn't manage to get the move done. Right, back to Harris and Schmidt. Let's see on the rear wing of Schmidt. What is that Lexus going to do? Look at it, pulling and pulling, getting closer as they come through the little kink over the timing tower. Harris, is he going to have to go to the outside? Yes, he is. Can he get it done around the outside? That's the question. He's got the long way round to go. Tucks it just in behind Schmidt. Schmidt offline a little bit, though, through the middle part of Tamburello. This could give Harris the run out of Tamburello towards Villeneuve. Already being covered off by Schmidt. Leger has a little look. Can't get past anywhere. Vitas has carried on going. And another wiggle for Schmidt there out the corner. That then just checks up on Harris, who nearly gets hit in the rear by Patrick Leger. And whereas we were at the moment, Matt Wright sitting and waiting in the wings for anything to happen there. But Matt Wright now under pressure from that of Hibbs coming up towards Piratella. Hibbs tucks back in behind at the moment. And out front, Mezin 8/10 clear of Keynes, who's pulled a second over Marinic. And Marinic has got 1.2 over Ben in this race so far. He's just started to pull away from Mackenzie, though, as there's Radic, who looked a little out of shape, but managed to hold on well. Mike Matthews putting Richie Michel under pressure. You've got to wonder, though, Harris will surely be getting past that Honda anytime soon with the straight line speed of that Lexus over the Honda.
Yeah, Harris needs to get past Schmidt here, just so that Lexus can stretch its legs on the long straight here as much as he can, but very shaky going through the chicane. So I don't think he's going to get it done this lap, but definitely in the next few laps with that top end speed.
Yeah, 100%. I think it's going to be an interesting one to keep our eyes on for sure. What will happen in this race coming up with still a long way to go. It will be an interesting one to see what that Lexus can do. Matt Wright, I think, is really in the thick of this podium fight for that gold category also, as Mike Matthews still within half a second of Richie Michel. You've got that Leger, Hibbs, that Schmidt, Harris, Leger, Wright, Hibbs, Messino, who's coming under pressure actually from Sokolov. Sokolov looks up the inside at Tamburello, can't do anything there. And Vitas, he's not too far behind. He's gaining on the back of this train now, so it's not all doom and gloom for him at the moment. Whatever damage he may have doesn't seem to be too bad for him, because he's gaining on this queue of cars, and that's the bonus for him. He needs to just gain as many places as he can now.
Yeah, but like I feel like Vitas is get a box as soon as it becomes or probably won't repair the damage because it looks like he's driving just fine. But I feel like he's gonna box as early as possible. And again, keeping eyes on the mid-pack. Ben Rook, if he wants to try to go for the podium here and stop the BMW dominance, he can, especially further into the stint. I think that, or the Lambo is going to be better on his tires. He's actually catching up to to Marinic here in the Lambos. Hardest part is going to be the Lambo's top end speed.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens.
Ooh, Radic's going wide
in this race. Where is Radic?
Overtaker on the inside.
Wide, yep. Teammates.
And Overtaker got him.
Yep. So teammates letting each other through there. Radic trying to a little wide, and Overtaker gets up the inside. Then Mezin's now 1.4 clear of that of Keynes, and Keynes trying to come back. Marinic's trying to come back, but he's under pressure from Ben Rupp. That looks a little closer than 0.8 of a second at the moment, if you ask me. And But Ben just trying to stick to the back now of that BMW ahead. We know how good the BMW is here at Imola. We're sick of saying it this week, but it really has been that strong. There is no drop score after tonight, class. So after tonight, the drop scores are done. I'm just catching up with the comments. He's struggling a bit, but his GCSE start the week he gets back to school. So not sure he'll balance the two out, but he's doing okay so far. So yeah, hopefully then, Chris, he's able to maintain his focus for, one, his exams, which are more important than this, and two, obviously he'll want to take that Pro Championship in this one. Gareth Anderson saying, let's go Cairns again, but I think Mezin will take the win. And Chris saying, that this track is defo built for the BMW. What's happened, Schmidt? Sorry.
He dropped. I didn't see what happened, but I just see he dropped like 5 positions.
I'm just noticing he's down to 16th place.
More people are wide. VTAS, the other person. Komar's off too. The racing softs are falling down the field.
The Honda's struggling a little bit here. I was just looking at Schmidt's car while you were saying that about Comar. No damage on the rear. And if I look at Michael Harris, look, he's got a pretty clean front end. So it's not like, I don't assume they've made contact. So, yeah, maybe the Honda's just struggling a little bit around here. As like you say, Comar's dropped now behind Vitas. That's given Vitas a place, who's on the back of Gillies, the other Honda in this race. Gillies on the back of Maiger as well, who's got Benedict Varga and Vasic just ahead of him. And Gillies looking for a move up the inside at Variante Alta. Vitas look to go around the outside, but they all filter through one by one and get out of it all nice and easy. And a good little bit of racing between the three of them there. Further forward, we've got Schmidt trying to chase down Sokolov and Messinio. Hibbs is trying to stick with Matt Wright at the moment as well. Leger trying to stick with Harris, and now Harris is all of a sudden on the pouch to try and get onto Mike Matthews and maybe onto the back of Richie Michelle for that gold lead here.
Yeah, and you got the both Bach and Simhub. Probably said that name wrong too. No, but Overtaker and Radek catching him to the back of Nissan, to that Nissan of Mackenzie.
Yeah, they are indeed, and that seems to have took the pressure off of Ben Rook from Mackenzie behind. Overtaker, multiple race winner, I do believe, at Imola. Let me just check my little statistics page. No, just the one race win actually, so ignore me. I thought he had multiple race wins here, but he doesn't. He's only got the one. And yeah, so he'd love to probably add another good result to his name at Imola. But we'll see what will happen at this circuit then for him in this race today, because so far it's been a quiet one, not the normal race one he'd have wanted, and I'm sure he'd love a better race too. Actually, no, I say a quiet race one. Didn't he get third place in race one? So ignore me. I'm talking utter rubbish.
Yeah.
Yeah, ignore me then.
Yeah, I expect the Mustang. Actually, the Mustang should be the best car here in about 5 to 8 minutes, because one, due to tire wear, and two, the BMW has this little quirk about 15 minutes into its stint. Yeah. It just starts to slowly fall off just because of the rear tires going on.
Oh, Benny Varga. Big snap out the chicane, manages to hold on to it, and that has put Gillies and Vitas on the inside line as they drop down the hill towards Ravazza then. Has Vitas got the move done? He should do. On that of Benny Varga, who tries to hold it around the outside, keeps his foot down, and no, tucks back in. Vitas does get the move done, so Vitas gains another place, and he's up into P20 now. An Overtaker side by side with Mackenzie in towards turn number 1. Mackenzie leaves him the room. And Overtaker can't get the job done there as he tries to come back here at Mackenzie down towards Villeneuve. Radic is right with him, and this is bringing Mike Matthews, Richie Michelle and Michael Harris. As Overtaker looks up the inside at the first part of Villeneuve to be the outside for the second part. That could invite Radic to make a run on his teammate, but he does not. Overtaker stays where he is, so he's just trying now, Tanner, to force the move on Mackenzie's Nissan, but at the moment can't do anything about it.
Yeah, excellent defensive driving from Mackenzie. You're putting his car exactly where he needs to be, and great racing from Overtaker too, not to take him out.
Indeed it is. He's on a pad as well as Overtaker, so even more impressive.
Jeez, okay. He's better than the other pad driver I know in this tier. Too bad he's not here for me to make fun of him.
Oh, you wait till he watches this back and hears you say that. Oh dear. There'll be handbags. Is that payback because of last week?
Mostly this week.
Fair enough. As Overtaker again gets a good run out the chicane down towards Ravazza, he comes. Harris is a bit closer to Mike Matthews in the background than what Mike is to Richie Michelle now. Overtaker looking to get that run out the final part of Ravazza. And is he close enough to the back of that Nissan here then? Let's go on board with Overtaker. Is he close enough to the back of that Nissan? I don't think he is, you know. But the one person who might be is that of Michael Harris. On board with him on the back of that BMW. Let's see him try and pull in Mike Matthews. 2/10 is the gap. He's getting closer and closer as they come to turn number 1. Is Harris going to go for the move? He might, you know, up the inside of Mike Matthews and bails at the last moment. Does Michael Harris there. But he's now getting close enough where that Lexus's straight line speed is going to be an advantage. Radic has made a mistake through Tamburello because now he's got Richie Michel looking on the outside of him, and he stays in front for the time being.
I'm watching the gaps up front too. The front two have really been stuck at this 1.1, 1.3 gap, but now Marinik was at 2.4 for the longest time. Now dropped down to 3 seconds. Ben Rook is also stuck at that 1.2, 1.3 second mark behind the driver in front. But I expect Ben Rook here in about the next 8 minutes to start putting pressure on Marinik and hopefully, maybe getting a move on and getting on that podium.
Well, Vitas has made another mistake while you were saying that. I didn't see what had happened, but he's dropped behind Comor, back down to 21st. Good evening to Paul Williams in the chat. Hope you're well, buddy. As Overtaker still having a look on the back of Mackenzie. Radic has still got Richie Michel for company, but Richie Michel's been caught by Mike, who's still got Harris, who's bringing Patrick Leger, and Matt Wright's nearly within a second of Patrick Leger as well. He's pulled nice and clear from Hibbs, so all of a sudden we've got a bit of a train developing here. Messinio's within a second of Hibbs, then Sokolov's right behind him. He's got Schmidt trying to gain on him as well. And the way everything is pointing out at the moment, Bar Mezin, Ben Rook is going to outscore all of his championship rivals tonight, but still 48 minutes to go in this race. Right then, further forward, is Overtaker close enough to Mackenzie? I don't think he is. This is going to be the interesting one though. Is Harris close enough to Mike? Because Mike, using that slipstream and the BMW straight line speed to have a look on Richie Michel, and he pulls out, thinks about looking up the inside, but doesn't do it, and that's gave him a horrible run through Tamburello, a wiggle through the middle part. Harris looking to the outside of Tamburello, doesn't go wide, keeps it on the tarmac. Harris now around the outside into Villeneuve, gets ahead of Mike Matthews, and Mike there maybe should have just kept it in a straight line. Did they just make contact? They was both a little squirrely out of Villeneuve, and Matthews stays ahead and manages to fend off that of Patrick Leger. But all of a sudden now, Harris will be charging after the gold lead in this race.
Yeah, Harris needed to get that move done just so he had the most amount of time to chase down Michel in this race. Yeah, I was about to say all aboard Train Radic, but Radic has put that gap right back up to 1.2 and another 4/10 between him and the gold leader, Michel.
Yeah, and Harris now, that gap's 1.5. Well, let's see if that starts to come down in this race. Overtaker right on the back of Mackenzie once again. Needs that run through Ravazza. Drop down towards Schmidt and Sokolov there within 4/10 of a second. There's Vasic as well, trying to gain on Messinio. Maiga under pressure from Gillies, and Vitas trying to come back on Comor. Benny Varga just dropping off the rear ever so slightly. Overtaker again looks like he's around about that half a second gap back to Mackenzie on the exit of Ravazza. That's just going to put him on the back foot for this straight.
Yeah, I don't know what's happening with it, or I don't know what's happening to Overtaker through those last few corners, but it just seems like he can't get the punch out that he needs. Yeah. I know the Ford has a restrictor plate on it, but I don't think that's the issue that he's having right now. He just needs to get it. He needs to have a clean run through those last few corners, right around the 3 to 4, or probably the 3:10, be literally right on his bumper, just so he can get that overtake done and start stretching that Ford's leg. The Ford's legs.
Harris has got the gap down to 1.2 already, so he's charging. Schmidt is on the back of Sokolov now, so Schmidt looking to just try and get a little bit closer and claw back some points that he's lost through a mistake earlier on. Gillies still on the back of Maiga as well. Vitas was 3/10 off the back of Comor. It's now 1.2 seconds. So not sure what's happened there, but Overtake, look, within that 4/10 window of the car ahead. Ben is still, by the way, 1.1 off the back of Marinic. We've done 2 laps since you mentioned it, so he just cannot get any closer. But at the same time, Marinic is just not pulling away either. So let's see what happens then between them two. And sorry, I've just been shown something by my partner there. Congratulations on that one. distracting me during work. It's crazy. While you're there, I'll have a latte, please. Thank you very much. Ben Ruck then just cannot get any closer to Marinic, and it's going to be crazy. While we're in the chat at the moment, is anybody at Donington Park next week for the British Touring Car Championship? If so, drop me a DM on Discord. Me and Mike Matthews will be there, so 2 of the 4 admin will be there. I don't think Langley's able to get over. I did tell him and Ez to get Langley and Brad and Tanner and himself in a paddle boat and paddle over. They should be here if they set off now by next weekend. As here is Overtaker, right up the rear wing of Mackenzie. Now pulls to the outside line. This is as close as he's been. And is Overtaker going to have a look? No, he's not. He just can't get that overlap at the moment. But does he get a better run out of Tamburello? No, slides on his way out. Vitas in the pits 15 minutes in.
Yeah, that Vitas is going to go for long here. Hopefully, with just his raw pace, he's gonna be able to just pass people through the pit cycle. Like, pretty much exactly what I said before the race. Let's go, another ding for me for being right. But yeah, dude, I'm gonna take all the wins I can since the game kicked me off.
So here's Langley last night, ruining Simcoe's night, getting it all wrong. Here's you tonight, getting it all right. You're keeping score, yes. You are, aren't you?
Yes, I am.
As well, if you want some more SimPlay action, the week isn't over for SimPlay Motorsport. Yoshi Harris will be back in the comms box on Saturday for the 6 hours of Bathurst, so make sure you tune in for that one. Should be a fantastic race. 6 hours of the mountain, and it starts in the dark. It starts at 5 in the morning. It will start like the real life Bathurst, where it will start in complete and utter darkness then, so should be a great night, a great afternoon's worth of racing. Schmidt on the back. Schmidt is now ahead of Sokolov, so he has got the job done there. Patrick Leger still gaining on Matt Wright, pulling away from Mike Matthews, and Ben is now lost a couple of attempts to Marinic. He's now 1.3 off the back of the BMW. And has immediately closed that gap back down. Overtaker's as close as he's ever been, and you might be right here. Has he got the momentum though to get towards turn number 1? Is he as close as he's ever been? Because I thought he was closer last lap.
He was on his bumper coming out of the last corner, and then just I don't know what they put into that Nissan. That Nissan out of corners is insane right now compared to that Ford Mustang.
And a fight behind as well for the gold lead. Michael Harris to the outside of Richie Michel. Doesn't get it done there. Michel a bit slow on the entry into Villeneuve. That's gave Harris a little wiggle, but Harris now getting close to the back and looking like he's going to try and make some moves for this gold lead. We've got Patrick Leger as well gaining on Mike Matthews in this race. Sokolov is gaining on Schmidt. Vasic gaining on Messinio in the Lexus. Maiger has been overtaken by Gillies. Vitas has done his stop. So that's an interesting one to keep our eyes on. But Harris now looking to get racing. Overtaker still as close as he's been. In fact, if not closer.
I feel like Overtaker and Raddock need to be thinking about boxing eventually soon if they can't get past Mackenzie. They're just losing way too much time sitting behind him. Just looking at Vitas is just in front of Marinic. If I was looking correctly.
Yeah, you're correct. So he's been lapped by the leaders, but he'll get that lap back, and if he can run with the leaders, he's got the pace to run with them. He won't have to yield to the blue flags if he pulls away from Marinic. As here goes Radic up the inside of Overtaker. That's cost them both a lot of time to that of Mackenzie. Radic still side by side. The teammates touch. Overtaker in the gravel, and Radic has got through. This has put Richie Michel onto the back of Overtaker now, and Harris in that monstrous Lexus. Can he get on the back of Overtaker as well with Mike Matthews and Leger waiting in the wings? Here comes Richie Michel up the inside of the Mustang. The Mustang just has the legs. Michel's going to have a look. Here comes Harris. Backs out of it at the very end. Michel's still there. Bounces off the first set of curbs. Harris gets alongside. Has to yield out of it though as Michel closes the door. Now Mike Matthews is right in play. He pulls out to have a look on Harris here and tucks back in. And after all that shouting, nothing's changed.
Only thing that changed with the teammates switched positions. I don't know what happened. I'm like, oh, they should work. Or they should both box and just use each other as just to move past Mackenzie just off of pure pace. But it looks like they haven't done it. And while we're talking, Ben Rook is now within a second of Marinic.
He is indeed. Now, is Ben going to find the undercut will work better for him? They've got Vitas in front, who's a lap down, let's not forget. So is this now going to be the opportunity for Ben to maybe undercut Marinic and to then possibly come out in front of him in the pit stop, but also have that clear traffic, because he won't be lapped by the leaders, unlike Vitas was. He'll be able to do it, as Craig Stothard says. Well, Neil Broom's and Cherry Moore are having a good laugh in the chat as well, as we go back to as we were. And you've got to fancy Harris this time. If you can get the run out of Ravazza, you've got to fancy that Lexus on the back of Richie Michel down the start straight.
Yeah, and starting right now is where I expect these drivers to start contemplating the undercut, because it, especially if you're in this train from Overtaker all the way down to Matt Wright, and Hibbs is coming up. Hibbs is almost there on the back of the train as well. You got to start thinking about pit strategy here.
Indeed you have, as here comes Harris to the outside of Richie Michel. Is he going to try and go the long way round? No, he doesn't. Richie Michel, though, bouncing over the sausage curbs. Harris is more alongside Richie this time around. Richie can't shut the door now. Harris still side by side. They make a little bit of contact. Mike Matthews waiting in the wings as well. Harris up the inside at Villeneuve. Does he yield that one? Yes, he does, because Richie Michel has the inside for the next part. They both have a wiggle coming out the corner. Mike Matthews is now with them as well. I've only just received the latte, Paul, so the latte's only just been delivered, so I've not even had the latte yet. Wait for that to kick in a few moments' time when I've drank it. But all of a sudden, this race has just come to life. Cairns is now within a second of Mesin as well.
Oh, let's go, Will. Sorry. I just looked up and I saw he's within a second too. I'm like, oh. Crazy.
This fight, though.
You know what?
Go on.
You know who what this is benefiting? This is benefiting Vitas. Even though he just let Ben Rook and Marnick through, this is benefiting. The more these guys fight, the more likely Vitas is going to get them just off of running his times.
Yeah, because if he can stick to the back of Ben Rook and Marinic, then he's just going to be gaining on these lap after lap after lap. Mike has had a problem. Where has Mike Matthews gone? He's fell all the way down behind Schmidt, so he must have had a moment out the chicane. I do need coffee, Chris, let me tell you. But he's lost out to Patrick Leger, Matt Wright, Damien Hibbs, and Schmidt as Patrick Leger box. Yeah, Leger's into the box. Right, Harris, is this the turn to get the move done? So Matt Wright has been released from Patrick Leger. Harris has to go to the outside. Beautiful defending from Richie Michel, you have to say. Mike and Leger into the pits. And once again, Richie Michel fends off that of Harris, who bunny hops over the first set of Tamburello curves, cuts the gravel on the second part, and has to do all that hard work all over again. Maiga still close to the back of Gillies. This will be crucial to see where Vitas comes out by Leger and Mike Matthews.
Yes, and nice to see that Michel got those brake upgrades that Lamborghini sent them.
Where is Vitas?
They just sent some to Mike Leach.
Vitas is he's just
behind.
He's just coming down to Aqua Minerali now. Leger and Mike still not gone green. They've got to go green around that chicane time. Yeah, they've got to go green as he sort of comes down that little dip towards the final two corners. Leger's gone green, so that could be Leger still ahead of Vitas. Mike's just gone green.
Might be close.
Oh, this could be a tight pit exit. We'll keep an eye on this one then. You keep your eye on Vitas. I'm going to move forward for the live action on the fights. Hibbs within half a second of Matt Wright. Harry still within 7/10. Ben still within 8/10. Is Ben going to look for that undercut? We'll drop that down to Vitas now because nothing's happened at the moment. Mike and Leger both off of the pit limiter. Vitas nowhere near the start line. So yeah, so Vitas still got some work to do. Oh yeah, 100%. 100%. He's a lot closer. Right then, Harris. Round 3, 4, 5, maybe even 6.
Far back this time. You know what this? Oh, I just saw a Slockoff's in the pit lane now too. So people are now responding to Patrick Leger and Mike Matthews going to the pits.
Yeah, 100% Sokolov into the pits. And yeah, you're right. Harris too far back. Ben's lost a lot of time. He's dropped half a second back in this one. So he's 1.3 behind Marinic now. Closest fight is technically Hibbs and Matt Wright. And then we got Maiga still trying to hunt down Gilly. Still ahead of Comore though. So now Sokolov is into the pits. So Sokolov was a little lower down the order to Leger and Mike. So let's see where Sokolov will appear compared to that of Vitas. That'll be an interesting one. Harris back within 5/10 though of Richie Michel. And Michel has just defended into turn 1. So beautiful all night, hasn't he? Because he's just covered that inside line. Forced Harris to go the long way. And Harris just cannot get around him.
Yes. The grip Michel has in the braking zone is just insane. If you were, I hate referencing Formula 1, but last year at Imola, it's the move that Max Verstappen made on Oscar Piastri in turn 1. That's the grip Michelle has right now through turn 1. He has whatever he asks the car does it, and it's insane. I feel like Harris needs to get the move done on the straight. He cannot. Oh, somebody's around.
Somebody is around. That is Benny Varga, who's had a spin. Ben Rook into the pits. Sokolov has came out the pits and is heading down into turn 1 on the back of Mike Mathew. So Vitas not close to the back of Sokolov either, as Benny Varga has had a spin and then I think has returned to the pit lane. So maybe some damage on that car. Harris, though, now is as close as he's been. Cairns, Brook, Radic, Hibbs, all in the pit lane then. So that some of the front runners starting to pit now. Is that Rook trying to undercut Marinic? Harris looks to the inside. Michelle has got it covered. Comes back across to his racing line. He's entitled to do that. Harris gets an almighty run though. He'll be on the outside line. Down into the exit of Tamburello. Down towards Villeneuve. Just there. Michelle cannot close this door. Here comes Michael Harris. If he can hold it around the outside line, he'll have the inside for the next part. He can't do that. And Richie Michelle once again stays where he is. And this is beautiful defending from Richie Michelle here. He has got that Lamborghini doing what he needs to do when he needs it to do it.
Now I'm starting to think it might be a little bit too late for Harris to even try the undercut right now. We're nearing nearly halfway. And I don't think he can get it on track now, just because one, Michelle's probably gonna have the better tires due to his car being lighter, and two, it's just he can't get close enough to get on the straight, and he obviously can't outbrake him now. It's just he needs to find an alternative way to pass him.
He's almost got to
be,
be,
wants to do it.
If he's not going to undercut him, he's almost got to be bumper to bumper out of the final corner. To know that he is truly close.
Matt Wright
yeah, and Schmidt as well. Benny Varga's pedals have stopped working. He's just put in the chat. Come on, Harris, do it for BAL, says Chris in the chat as well. Indeed, well, he's close here. He needs to be a little bit closer coming through this final corner. Looked like Richie Michelle went a little bit deep. That may be the closeness that Harris needs. Out the final corner. On the power he goes. And Richie Michelle boxes. So we again got all hyped up for nothing. Gillies and Vasic was half a tenth behind Gillies. He's nowhere near Gillies now, so I'm not sure what's happened there. He's lost out to Comore as well. Cairns has pitted. Rook has pitted. Overtaker, Richie Michelle, Matt Wright and Schmidt into the pits. Radic has pitted. Hibbs has done his pit stop. Hibbs has come out ahead of Patrick Leger, interesting enough. So Hibbs has jumped Leger in the pit lane.
Do you think he didn't take tires? That's the only way I think he would got it.
Well, he wasn't he wasn't that far behind Leger, was he? Let's be honest, because Leger had Matthews and Wright and then Hibbs.
So Patrick did let the leader pass him via the blue flag, so it could have been that too.
Well, Leger's now got the work to do. Maybe a mistake as well, possibly for Leger. Or maybe he was too cautious on pit entry. Remember, he had that stop-go penalty in the first race for speeding in the pit lane. Maybe just too cautious on the pit entry. Well, he's very close to the rear of Hibbs now. This time I can't seem to make them work again, so it's a retirement for me, I'm afraid. It's a hardware issue. Don't worry about that, Benny Varga, as Leger goes up the inside. Thank you, Mama, for the carrots. He gets through on Hibbs there, so he's back ahead. Matt Wright is exiting the pits as his Overtaker. Where are these drivers going to come out? Where is Cairns come out? Cairns has passed that of Overtaker, who's just left the pits. Radic stays in front of Overtaker. Ben is well up the road. Where is Ben to Cairns, actually? No, Ben is behind Cairns. Where is Matt Wright, who is... He has jumped that of Patrick Leger, and he's jumped him by some margin here. And Richie Michelle as well, by the way. Richie...
Oh, Hibbs around.
Oh! Chaos! That's Schmidt! Leger, Hibbs in the background! What happened there?
I'm scrolling through and I just see Hibbs sideways on the mid-corner of turn 3. This is not helping Michelle trying to keep ahead of trying to stay ahead of Harris.
Well, Michelle's just been jumped by Matt Wright as well, so...
Yeah.
Wow.
No, you got right back.
No, that's
you think Matt Wright didn't take tires? That's the only way he would... It's 5 seconds.
I think so, because he was a little further back from Richie Michelle, wasn't he? Because it was Michelle, Harris, Mike, Leger, then Matt. So I possibly think Matt hasn't taken tyres there. Well, let's see if it works for him. We've now got Comor, Marinic and Messina. Where is Ben Rook?
Oh boy.
Rook is at Ravazza. Who do you think would be the team to watch at the BTCC? Power Max Racing or Plato Racing? Keep your eyes on them two, telling you now. Here comes Ben Ruck. Marinich is on his way out the pit lane. Cairns will get ahead of everybody here. Marinich not off the pit limiter yet. I think Ben's going to have the overspeed. He's just come off the limiter now. I think Ben's going to have the overspeed coming down into turn number 1. Marinich covers that inside line on the pit exit, forces Ben to the outside, and Ben swoops around the outside. Job done for Ben Ruck. Moves up into a provisional podium at the moment. He's ahead of Marinich, only just.
Yeah, Marinich's going to take about a lap and a half to 2 laps and warm those tires up to working order, so he's going to be on the back foot here for a little while Ben Ruck already has about 3 laps on those tires. So
oh Jesus, there Patrick Leger and Sokolov were side by side as Messinio has came out the pit lane, and they've nearly made contact with the back of the Ford Mustang, who's getting up to speed. How they've not made contact, I don't know, but Leger trying to get around the outside of Sokolov, cannot do it. Great awareness from the pair of them there. And like you say, Marinich, he's just got to keep this going to stick as close to Ben while them tyres warm up.
Yeah, the BMW should have the straight line speed advantage over the over the Lamborghini. So it literally is, can he stay close and can he use that straight line speed to get past again? Or
I'll tell you what might be
get
close.
That position back.
It might just be a little bit close, depending on how Mezin's stop was. Cairns may be close to Mezin here. Yeah. Ooh. Down the start line. Mezin's still in that pit lane at the moment. Wait for the P to disappear next to his name. That means he's off his pit limiter. Cairns is up to speed. Might not be as close. I think Cairns was a little bit far back, referencing that to Ben. Yeah, Mezin's got that covered. So, yeah, good job from Mezin.
It might close it with cold tires, but I don't think it'll get close enough.
Yeah.
It's going to be closer than what it was.
Just gone back to the Sokolov-Leger fight. Sokolov's around, so that's allowed Leger, Messino, Hibbs, Maiga, Vitas through. So where is Sokolov then? Yeah, and even that of Comor, I do believe. Yes, so Vitas now running up in 17th place with Gillies in the pits. Will he be able to jump Gillies? That'll be the question. Marinich still on the back of Ben Ruck here. Leger no longer 2 tenths off the back of Comor. So let's stick to this Ben Ruck Marinich fight. BAL, Big Apple Logistics, obviously one of the sponsors of the Pro Series here. Sponsor Ben as well as a driver, so hence the name. So great to see BAL getting on board with a driver and the league as well. Thank you to them for their continued support this season. Been absolutely fantastic as Ben Ruck just still ahead of Marinich at the moment.
Mike Mathews in the wall from turn 4.
Oh, he is, yeah. Big time in the wall as well. Doesn't look too bad a damage on the front, but he's going to drop behind Sokolov. What could that have been to have sent him there? That's got to have bounced off the sausage curb.
Yeah, you hit the inside curb awkwardly and you spun him around.
Yeah.
It really, actually, I thought I saw somebody else in it. But McKenzie and Harris going long here. It's going to be interesting since I know both those cars are really heavy on tire wear. It's going to be interesting to see where they come out, especially Harris right around Michelle. Also, talking about Michelle has caught 1.5 seconds since Mike Wright came out of the pit lane. So the tire difference is immense. But to quote my other American commentator from last week, it's one thing to catch, it's another thing to pass somebody. So it's gonna be interesting to see if Michelle can get past Matt Wright on obviously better tires. But
yeah.
The BMW straight line speed might be a little bit too much.
Well, we're only assuming better tires because we haven't got any way of finding out. We do believe though that he didn't take tyres. Vitas went side by side with Maiga, couldn't get the job done. Now Gillies having a look on Comor, and into the back of Comor he goes. May have got the tap from Sokolov behind. That's given Mike Mathews. Sokolov got 2 places. Mike gets 1, and Gillies has to recover. And there is Schmidt in the background. So Schmidt has had another. Oh yeah, you had that big off, didn't he, out of Villeneuve? And here goes Mike Mathews once again. Look on the back now of Comor. Coming down towards turn 1 with Gillies and Schmidt and Sokolov. 5 cars duking it out here. Mike's going to look to the inside line of Comor. 3 Hondas involved. You've got Schmidt looking up the inside of Gillies. Gillies has to avoid Comor, and Schmidt taps his teammate, and teammates make contact at Tamburello, and around goes Comor there. Harris is into the pits, and teammates have touched here at Imola.
McKenzie stayed out a lap too long here. He does not want this traffic right now. He needs clean air. You need to, and a drive-through for 101. For track limits.
The Sokolov there, track limits for him. So, shame to see him get a drive-through, but that is the way it goes. Track limits can be so harsh here as well.
Yeah, especially through the chicane, and I forgot the corner's name right before the chicane.
Oh, Aqua Minerale.
Thank you. The exit of Aqua Minerale. I you can tell I take my speech therapy seriously.
Yeah.
Harris is now off, just dropped from his pit.
I tell you what, this might be close with Matt Wright, and Matt Wright could be leading the gold category if he passes Harris here.
Mm-hmm. Off the pit lane. I think he's got him clear.
Yeah, I think he has got him clear. So he's jumped
Way
Richie
clear.
Michelle, and he's way clear of Matt Wright. But Matt Wright running second place in gold at the moment. A win and a second in that gold category. Good job from Matt Wright tonight. Vitas on the back of Maiga now. Let's see if Vitas can get this job done over the Ford Mustang. 2 laps left for Sokolov to do his drive-through penalty. That'll release Mike Matthews in this race. And we have, I believe, lost another driver as Vitas bouncing over the sausage curb, and around goes Vitas. Where is Sokolov and Mike? Through goes Sokolov. Through goes Mike. Schmidt and Gillies may also get him as he gets back up to speed. Oh, this is poor from Vitas. He did not need this tonight at all.
Yeah, no, Vitas did not make up the ground I thought he would for pitting early, but it's just, I think it's just compound interest in terms of pain. One, you got the damage from pretty much the start of the race, and it's just blow after blow after blow, and it's just stacking, and you just gotta slow again. Counterintuitive, slow down, start running his own race. If he has to let up a position just so he can calm down, he just needs to have a mental reset and just do a 20-minute race. He needs to forget about the first 40. Oh, McKenzie coming out of the pits as well.
Sorry, it was just doing the driver of the day poll there. I've put Mike Wright on it for his goal performances. So where has McKenzie come out? Yeah, Radic has got him. An overtaker's nowhere near. Oh, well, actually, it's probably what it was before he pitted.
Mm-hmm. After Radic and Overtaker came together, Radic definitely had the pace over McKenzie before the pit stops. It looks like it's paid dividends, and he's now got that position. And then Overtaker has to basically do the same thing he tried to do during the first stint. Is now you have to get past the Nissan.
He's just not got to worry about the Porsche behind him diving up the inside, has he? But he's only got Harris 7 seconds off the back, so see what Harris can do there. We're watching the fight between Marinich and Ben Rook at the moment for 3rd place on the grid, on the field so far. And this is exactly what Ben would have wanted. Yes, Mezin fastest lap, leading this race. He took pole position. But he's not really got to worry about Mezin too much. And he's not losing too many points to him. It's about, I think, 8 and 9 points, maybe 6 to 8 points, I think, he's losing to Mezin in this race. Don't hold me to that. That's just an estimation if I'm correct. Maybe 9 with the fastest lap. But if Ben can keep that podium, Vitas down in 18th place. Vitas had a good first race to possibly not make this round his drop score.
Yeah, and it looks like Marinik is having the same issue Overtaker has going through that last corner. He just cannot get the power down. He dropped 1.5 tenths through the last sector, so I don't know where he might actually go for the overtake here. Down in turn 1, takes a look, but thinks better of it. And sits right back behind Ben Rook. He's trying to make it the BMW 1-2-3, but Ben Rook's trying to not let that happen.
Yeah, so Marinich here then at the moment, trying to do everything he can to get past Ben Rook. Not to be. Sokolov has got to come in to serve his drive-through penalty this time around. Otherwise, it will be disqualification for him, and that'll put him behind everybody, I do believe. So that'll give Vitas another couple of points. Into the pits comes Sokolov now. And what is happening with them gaps down there? Schmidt not close enough to Mike. Vitas not close enough to Schmidt at the moment. Gilly's not close enough to Vitas. Overtakers within 9 tenths of McKenzie, so he's, like you say, he's got to do it all again. Matt Wright's actually gained over Harris. That gap's down to 1.8 seconds. So Matt
we have
Wright,
a recording effect at the podium for gold, because Michelle just gained 6 tenths that lap too. So we might have a 3-way battle here for the lead if Harris backs Wright up.
Let's see what happens here then.
If Harris is slower than Matt Wright, it would actually benefit him for him to back him up into Matt Wright. I don't know if he's going to do it. I think it's, again, he's better off probably just driving, but If it does come down to that, even though he just lost 3/10, and Michelle, oh my God, Michelle's within 3 seconds. That's another 5/10 Michelle caught Matt right. But
yeah, indeed it is. So let's see. Yeah, going to be a tight one, isn't it? Really going to be a tight one. Ben comes out the final corner. Marinic all over the rear wing of Ben Ruck. Let's see if he's making any gains on board that Lamborghini. He's making gains. He's pulled to the outside line. Ben's gone defensive. In fact, Ben's indicating to the inside. Does Ben have a problem? Marinic has passed him pretty easy there. Or is that Ben thinking of the championship and not wanting to get involved in an incident?
I'm disappointed because I wanted to see them duke it out, but it is smart for Ben Rook since I think him getting the win here is probably out of the cards unless the top two, as Marinik is wide, unless the top two decide to take each other out. But I kind of wanted to see Ben Rook defend, as we have seen the Lamborghini be the best car on its brakes on the track today, as we've seen from Michelle.
We have indeed. Harris 7.1 behind Overtaker. Matt 2.7 behind Harris. So Harris has started to pull that gap out over Matt Wright. Matt Wright's now 2.3 ahead of Richie Michelle. Mike's got Schmidt and Vitas for company. We're currently going back, though, to the fight of Mackenzie and Overtaker here. And hopefully Chris will be able to tell us what happened with Ben there. Did he just decide to let Marinic go, thinking of his championship, or what was the decision there? Chris will probably be able to let us know the information of that one. But you have to say, you know, fourth place still a good result for Ben Ruck in this race. Even if it is fourth, he's still some 13 cars clear of that of Vitas. So it's still good points over his closest championship rival.
Yes, it is really good points. It's just, as a racer, I was disappointed that he didn't really fight it more. But it makes sense. It makes absolutely no sense for him to try to fight it with every tooth and nail for a podium that, how many points from P3 to P4? 5 points, if I remember correctly?
4.
Difference?
4 points.
4 points? Is it worth DNFing for battling for 4 points? No. If at the end of the year he loses by 4 points, we can point to this and saying, you should have fought better. But I don't think in 2 races, 4 points is going to make that big of a difference, especially through how long the 18 race season we have.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's sensible for him as well. Overtaker still close to Mackenzie. Harris can't catch them. Michelle's got the gap down to Matt Wright to 2 seconds now. Schmidt within half a second of Mike Matthews. And here comes Vitas with Schmidt as well. So let's see what happens here between these three into turn 1. He just said he's too tired. Too tired to fight that hard tonight. We got him up at 7 AM and dragged him around Eden Project. Oh, there we go. Lovely. Too tired at 16 years old? Jeez, man.
Jeez.
Bad dad for taking his kids out for the day. Yeah, terrible. How dare you? I suppose, Chris, you best not take him Donny next week then. That's what I'm hearing. Is Schmidt just gaining slightly... Sorry, Vitas just gaining slightly on the back of Schmidt. Can't do anything about it at the moment. Overtaker's lost a bit of time to Mackenzie. And... we've just lost a driver. No, we've just lost Mackenzie. That's who we've lost. Mackenzie's gone. We've just lost Mackenzie. So that must have been that must have been a typical Tan and Imola disconnection.
Come on, I was hyping him up. Come on.
You've hyped him up. You've given him his internet. Well, that gives Vitas an extra place now to Ben Ruck. That's put him up to 16th place. Oh, poor Mackenzie. 2 disconnections in 2 weeks. What a shame for him.
Dude, he was driving so well. There wasn't... I'm pretty sure the tire wear on that car is abysmal, and he was driving amazing. He was... Oh, he's back at it. I know that's the walk of shame he's doing right now in the pit lane. He got the old 2-minute hold until he's allowed to go. But luckily, he doesn't have to do another pit stop. So I think he'll only be about a lap down. So hopefully, maybe he can pick up a position or two if somebody gets a drive-through.
Schmidt having a look on the rear of Mike. Can't do anything. I've just had to double-check something there. Yoshi put no, the race leader. Mezin's absolutely fine. Mike's made a mistake, though, through Tamburello. And Vitas gets the pair of them. Schmidt had to avoid the back of Mike. And Vitas gets ahead of them both. Has he got the job done, though, on Schmidt? He has now. Vitas up into P14. So that's a couple more points. He's pulled back on Ben Rook here now.
Yeah, Vitas needed to get that move done as quick as possible so we can go chase the Ford and the other McLaren in front of him. I think I think Mega is going to be the, or Miga?
Miga.
I'm saying that name. Miga. Thank you. Before I get canceled. Miga. I think Miga's a realistic position that he can probably get, especially with that McLaren. But Hibbs is definitely a opportunistic guess.
Yeah.
Or but yeah, that Ford in front of him is definitely a achievable goal. As Matt Wright is still falling back, it fell back another 10th since the last I've looked.
Yeah, that gap did get down to 2 seconds, though, 2 laps ago to Richie Michel. So he's actually gained 3/10 over Richie Michel over the last 2 laps. Gap out front 2.4. Cairns now has the fastest lap of the race. Track temp 24 degrees. Schmidt trying to come back at Vitas here, but I can't know anything about it. Can Vitas, though, like Tanner's just said, find that 6.9 seconds to get on the back of Miga? And then it's a further 2.6 to get onto the back of Hibbs. So, yeah, going to be an interesting one to see what Vitas can do in this race. Because, like I say, we expected him to come through the field, I think, a bit more in this one, didn't we, with that early pit stop?
Yeah, but you know, we don't. Sadly, we don't know what damage he has. I think he still has that front right toe damage that I don't know if he repaired it or not, but it could be he has a bit of aero damage from that hitting the wall, and it's probably not undrivable, but it's noticeable enough to throw him off as he loses it there too, going through turns 4 and 5, going to the hairpin now.
Mike Matthews looks a little squirrely since he's got his damage, and he's got Gillies now alongside him on the exit of Tosa up towards Piratella. Is Mike going to fight this one? He's going to try and hold it on that inside line. Breaks a little later than the Honda. Honda goes wide. That'll probably pick himself up a track limit warning. He's probably got out the throttle there, is Gillies, and Mike holds on to that position. Schmidt still attacking the rear of Vitas. Vitas is now over 7 seconds, and well, that could have been a track limit warning for Vitas there as he cuts across the exit of Aqua Minerale. And, yeah, Schmidt just having a look. Oh, he's gone deep. Schmidt went deep there at the chicane. And, yeah, he yields the place back to Vitas. Chris is just saying that Ben's just said the BMW is too quick, and if there was any contact between the two, Lambo would come out worse. So, it does sound like Ben's used his head there and just is happy to take that 4th place.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with Ben. The BMW is a monster through here, especially early on the stint. I just... As a racing fan, I want to see people literally,
yeah,
as nicely to put it, fight in a phone booth and just throw metaphorical punches at one another, fighting like we saw Overtaker and McKenzie do for a few laps. Just perfect positioning of cars. And
interesting here, Harris has gained 7/10 over Overtaker. That's down to 6.4. And Richie Michel is only 1.5 back as Gillies there, and Mike Matthews. Mike going onto the gravel. Gillies gets through. So Mike loses out another place. And, yeah, interesting to see that Harris is just starting to close that gap on Overtaker now. As I say that, he takes a track limit there. And Matt Wright, 1.1 to Richie Michel. So Richie Michel starting to come on Matt Wright. And we've said that these two have defended well all night so far. So this will be a really interesting fight to see play out.
Yeah, I think Michelle has to do the same thing, or basically do the reverse of what Harris was doing, right? He has to get close enough to get to the braking point, braking zone with Mac Wright. So he needs to get on his bumper, use the draft, and try to psych him out to where he can get that inside on turn 1 with these cars. Especially since we've seen his braking, he probably is one of the best has the best brakes that we've seen in terms of just racecraft in this race so far. So he needs to get in a position to use those brakes. Indeed,
he does. The battle for the driver of the day is quite interesting at the moment. 8 votes have come in. 25% for Matt Wright, 38% for both Mesin and Cairns at the moment. We'll get mine and Tanner's gold and platinum driver of the day at the end of this race. 10.5 minutes left to go then. And Ben's dropped back to 2.3 seconds behind Marinich. He's got 10.5 to Radic, so he just can cruise around a little bit now and hope maybe that one of the leaders
under a second now
has a mistake. Yeah, we're watching the Richie Michel gaining on Matt Wright. Harris as well, 6.2 to Overtaker, so he's again brought that gap down a couple of tenths. Needs a bit more than a couple of tenths a lap, but just slowly chipping away at that gap at Overtaker.
Yeah, I think Harris needs about a second per lap just to get an opportunity to pass. And the main spot you pass around here is turn 1, so he needs to catch him in 5. So it's 1.2 seconds a lap is what Harris needs to catch Overtaker here. And barring any mistakes from Overtaker, I don't think Harris can do it. I think P7 is the most he can do right now, as Michelle's now within 0.5 or 0.6 of Matt Wright.
He is, and he just bounced over the sausage curbs at the very anti-alta chicane. That's just possibly cost him a tenth or two. But still right there for it. Schmidt's still on the back of Vitas. Mathew's still gaining on the back of Gillies as well. That's only 9/10. This, though, is your closest fight on track at the moment. And Harris has just really got to take most of that time out of Overtaker down the straight, or with that Lexus's superior power. 5.7 the gap, so gain about, what, 6-7 tenths of a second that lap, so not enough. But if Overtaker just makes a mistake or two, it might be. So we'll keep our eyes on this race. And there we go. Look, Richie Michelle, 7 tenths off the back of Matt right now after the start line. So playing out quite nicely. 3-1 Vasic drive-through penalty. That might help Sokolov get a place back. It won't help Mackenzie at all. There's good evening to Disco Face, who says yellow beamer nostalgia. That's an orange BMW. It looks a bit yellow on the screen, but it is orange. If you want a yellow BMW, that's got a bit of yellow on it. Or Marinich has got a bit of yellow on it. There you go. And I know why you're saying that. Used to drive the yellow BMW M6 back in the Project Cars 2 days of racing.
I was about to say that the orange might be a little sun-baked, but I don't say it yellow.
How are you, Disco? Hope you're doing well. We're not seeing you around for a while, so I hope you're doing pretty good, buddy. Is half a second, Matt Wright to Richie Michelle here. Michelle's just slowly creeping on the back of him, but just making 1 or 2 little errors. Is he just pushing a little bit too hard, maybe?
I think he's pushing a bit too hard through this section right here, the chicane. I don't think he pushed enough there. Didn't take enough sausage grub on the second part, and I think he lost another tenth or two through there just because he's not being aggressive enough through there and just losing that little bit of time, because he needs the slipstring to help catch or at least minimize the loss he's going to have on the straight.
Well, let's see what happens here. It is half a second. Harris to Overtaker. What's that down to now? It's down to 5.1. Again, 6/10 that lap he's taken out. It just still doesn't feel enough, does it, to get onto the back of Overtaker with enough time to have a proper chance to have a look. We'll keep our eyes on that gap, but this is the closest fight at the moment. Just caught it on my feed. Hope you gentlemen are having a fine evening.
Overtaker catching his teammate right now. He got a half a second through the first sector.
Yeah, he is indeed. Married life is all good. Oh, you got married, Disco. I had just assumed you already was married. Well, congratulations, buddy.
I thought that was going to go a completely different way. I'm sorry.
Been getting her to start racing again, won't lie. Well, you know where we are, Disco. You know where we are indeed. Season's about to end.
I'm more than willing to wreck you out, Disco.
Don't.
You know.
He's been involved in way too many incidents in the past, so don't. Maybe.
I'm American. I'm used to it, buddy.
Overtaker 1.6 to Radic. So, yeah, he's pulled 2 temps back over Harris's Overtaker as well. This is the closest fight. This is really the only fight under a second, actually, looking at the gaps down the bottom part of the track. It has been an amazing week, Yoshi. Sorry, Tanaka.
Oh, you're fine. I'm interested to see if Overtaker does what Radic did to him now. Just a complete dive bomb out of nowhere.
Dive bomb at the final corner. Just push you onto the gravel at the last corner, and yeah, you deal with Matt Wright. And I tell you what, that Lexus has probably got more chance of catching the Porsche than it has the Mustang.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, especially since I know that Porsche's straight line speed is abysmal. 1.6 before the line. Where does it? 1.8. He lost 2 tenths in the last sector. Yeah.
Will the Balkan Sim-Up teammates make more contact, or will they stay as they was? This is the only fight on circuit at the moment. This is on board with Richie Michelle. Looking down the start-finish straight then. Harris has got the gap under 5 seconds now. Just got to take a little bit more out of Overtaker this lap with 5 minutes 40 on the clock. And Richie Michelle just can't get closer than half a second at the moment, can he?
I think he's getting the taste of the dirty air from the BMW, just because the BMW is such a big and tall car. The slipstream you can get from behind is he drops to 1 second now. The slipstream you get from the BMW is immense, but the dirty air it gives off is so much just because how big it is. I don't know. Michelle needs to find something in the last 5 minutes that, or find something, some time. He needs to do something different that he has been doing the last 25 minutes to be able to get to and pass Matt Wright if he wants that second place.
Disco saying the old Sooty send it. Sooty hasn't sent one in ages. In fact, Sooty doesn't race anymore, so you've got no look of that happening. But yeah, the old Sooty send it. They were the days. Indianapolis, Disco comes to mind there. There's yeah, Richie Michelle just hopping over the curbs. Took a little bit more curb that time. Looks like Matt Wright missed them and just got a bit of a slower run through the very anti-alta chicane there. But we'll
I don't think he's close enough, but definitely closer than as he has been.
Yeah, possibly around that, just under that half a second mark. As Harris was 4.8 behind Overtaker. Overtaker back down to 1.7 to Radic. 1.5 now at the last sector. So that could be a fight between the two teammates. What is Harris? 4.9. So Harris has lost time this lap. So I don't think Harris has got enough time to catch onto the back of Overtaker. Schmidt's back within a second of Vitas. And yeah, look, 0.6 of a second. Still not close enough. Richie Michelle.
Yeah, he needs to be in that 0.3 range to even think about going for a move into turn 1.
Yeah.
Turn 1 out of the last corner.
So into the final 4 minutes, it's Mezin who leads from Cairns, who's got the fastest lap of the race. That gap is 4 seconds. Cut the chicane fully, Michelle, says Cherry Moore in the chat. Marinich is 12 seconds behind the leaders, but running in a solid P3. Ben Rook is in 4th from Radic, 5th. Overtaker 6th from Michael Harris, 7th. Matt Wright and Richie Michelle, the closest fight on track, is 8th and 9th. And Richie Michelle looks a little closer now, I have to say, since we've just jumped off him.
Yeah, he had a great run through the first sectors, and then had an amazing run through turn 4 and 5, and he got the curb in the hairpin and was able to turn it around. I think he might be able to get a move done here if he gets might get through the chicane here if he gets a run.
Right, he was a little slow there, and that's put Richie Michelle to the outside line now, coming down towards the very anti-alta chicane. Richie Michelle on that outside line, tucks back in behind, patiently waits behind Matt Wright. And Righty, look, just gets that acceleration out the chicane, and that gap that Richie Michelle had kind of goes back to its normal gap at the moment there.
Yeah, Michelle was way too cautious going to the second part of that chicane and just completely missed the curb. He was way too cautious there if he wanted to get in the move. I think this is going right back to that 0.6. Unless, Matt Wright didn't have a great run through the last corner, but I don't think it will be enough for Michelle to go for a move here.
We'll jump back to that in just a moment. Schmidt is gaining on the back of Vitas once again. Gap is half a second exactly. Matt Wright 7 seconds behind Harris now. And Michelle not close enough. Harris still 4.9 behind Overtaker, who's 1.2 off of his teammate at the moment. 2 minutes left to go. And Michelle, just as he got closer to Matt Wright, just made that one mistake at the chicane and cost him all that time. But let's see what happens. Schmidt then gaining on the back of Vitas down into turn 1. Schmidt pulls out, has a look, can't do anything about it. And Vitas would hate to lose another place here, but these two are trying to gain on Ben Rook in the championship, and they're both fighting for 14th and 15th on the track.
Yeah, again, it's going to be risk management here. Is it really worth fighting one another to possibly wreck out for the 4 to 2 points difference between 14th and 15th? I won't be the judge of that because I know I would be fighting my butt off for that position, but honestly, I don't think it would be worth it, as Michelle's again has another run going down to the chicane.
Not the place to do it. He needs to get the run out of here and be right on that rear wing of Matt Wright down in towards Ravazza. And again, I just feel like he's lost a bit of time out the chicane here. He's just not able to get the same run. He's closer than he has been, but I think he lost a bit of time out that chicane. He needs a good run through Ravazza. Hard on the brakes. Remember, this is the fight for second place in the gold category here in the Pro Championship. And Matt Wright, can he stay ahead of Richie Michelle down towards turn number 1? Richie Michelle right in the slipstream of Matt Wright here. That BMW just looks too strong in a straight line.
It's straight line speed and the ability for that BMW to take the curves that's making the difference for Matt Wright right now. And I believe we might be on our last lap here. If I
possibly Mezin is at the chicane, so we might be close to getting one more in. As Schmidt gaining on Vitas. They're both gaining on Maiger as well. That's 1.8. So if there is one lap after this, then that could be interesting to see between Vitas and Schmidt. As here goes Schmidt to have a look again into turn number 1. Can't do it there. Definitely, after tonight's race, game sound needs looking at. I can hear it even outside the car. The sound stuttering. Oh, we had that on Tuesday night. I will double check that, Yosh, for you all at the end of tonight.
Oh, Ed, race over.
Oh, and the race is over. Oh, damn, we've missed Mezin cross the line. So he has crossed the line. Mezin wins the race. Cairns comes across for P number 2. Marinic will be P number 3. So a good result for him in this one, but a real good result for Mezin. Cairns at second with that fastest lap. Marinic takes that. Where is Marinic? He's there. He takes that P3. Ben Ruck, championship leader. Good result for P number 4 for him in this one. Radic will fend off his teammate for P5. Overtaker down in 6th place in this race. As they come to the line now, Harris got down to 3.8 seconds in the end, so not a bad job from Harris. Who is your gold winner is Michael Harris. A P7 for Michael Harris. Matt Wright will hang on in there, a first and a second in class win in category tonight. Good results for him. Richie Michel will cross the line, P number 9. Patrick Leger will be then that in P10. And then Messinio will come across the line for P11 in this one. He did. Oh, Schmidt's passed Vitas. Oh, he has, yeah. Schmidt has passed Vitas. Hibbs gets P12. Good result for him. Maiger P13. Schmidt 14th. Vitas 15th. Just waiting for Gillies, who is well clear of Mike Matthews at the moment. There they are. And then it's just Mackenzie that we are waiting on to get to the line now. So, good result tonight for Matt Wright. Huge result, though, for Michael Harris to pull extra points clear of class, with class not here in this one tonight. So, good results for him in this race. As there we see Mackenzie cross the line down in 21st. Sadly for him. Vitas 15th, though, and Schmidt in 14th at the end. So, Vitas does lose them extra points over that of his championship rival and loses extra points, really. Comore, not the night he would have wanted. Mike Matthews 17th, not a great race too for him either. But that is the end of the pro race. Remember, we head to Valencia next week for some more pro action. I will have a look at this audio situation and what is happening with the audio there. Hopefully the audio will be better. Is it just the car noise? Neil, let us know if it's just the car noise that is doing it there. Well done, winner, says Disco. Yeah, it's been strange all week so far. Great night, great comms for you both. Matt, see you at the BTCC. It'll be good to catch up. Indeed it will, Chris, but I'll see you next Thursday night for the Valencia race. Yeah, let me know if that was the car, just the car sounds or our voices as well, Neil, and I'll definitely take a look at that as to why that would have been a problem or two. I will take a look back at it, and we just wait for some drivers to join us in the commentary box. But while we do that, Tanner, round out today and give me your gold and silver driver, gold and platinum driver of the day.
For gold, it has to be the person who got P2 in the P2 in race 1 and P pretty much unchallenged in race 1 or race 2. It has to be a Mizzen. I'm gonna say that name wrong. Mezin. And for gold, it has to go to. It's gonna sound biased as all hell, but Matt Wright, just a really good race 1 and really good race 2 from him. Two podiums and a race win in both races for gold.
Yeah, indeed. I think I have to agree with you on that one. As we'll get the points rearranged now. We have got a few people joining for an interview. So let's just get through these points now. So Ben Ruck, 885 points, leads Vitas, 845.5 points. Schmidt is P3 on 816.5. Mezin P2 on 802. So pretty close, really. 83 points separating the top four. Marinic is up to 5th on 750 ahead of Radic on 734.5. Leger, 701.5 for him. Mackenzie on 568. Sokolov P9 from Comore. Mike Matthews, overtaker Cairns. I'll tell you what I have done, because I didn't delete the other numbers at the bottom of the screen to see who won't be able to be in the championship hunt anymore. So from Mike Mathews down now, cannot win the championship. So only the top 10 are still mathematically in contention for the championships. It's Mike, Overtaker, Cairns, McGowan, Milliston, Pletek, Gleeson, Skunky in gold. Harris leads the way, 704.5 to classes 628.5 in that one. So class has fell back behind. So Harris could do with a good week next week, outscore class again, and possibly has one hand on that title. We may get a cheeky interview with Harris because he misses Donington Park. He'll be in Greece. That'd be interesting to get an interview with him if we can from his holidays. Hibbs is on 574 from Richie Michelle. Cardno down to 5th with Messinio. Matt Wright in 7th. Gillies 8th. Manavola 9th and Maiga 10th. The top 10 are the only 10 that can win the championship in gold. Now Benny Varga from Christa Court, Vasic, Jimenez, Ugoni, Langley, Rob Smith, Gluhack and Ramsell. And in the teams championship, only 9 teams can now win it, and BAL Racing have that just shy by 2 points. So they've got a 198-point lead over Balkan Esports, with Racing Softs now in 3rd. Balkan Simul 4th from Cloud9 Racing. Greasy Bandits Racing, Sleepy Lizard, Repsol Racing, Balkan OZ, SimPlay Racing are the last team who can win the championship. Then it's Team KSE Squadra Corsa, Team Richie Corsa, Momentum Motorsport, Quantum Motorsport. The casuals, only Momentum, Flying Dutchman, NS Spinners and Bearded Racing. And we are joined by a few of the drivers in the comms box. We'll start with 2 third-place finishers in tonight's race. We'll first of all start off with Overtaker, who we've not heard from in a long time. Cracking P3 in the first race from yourself there. Obviously, reverse grid, starting on the front row of the field. Pitted a little later on in that sprint race, but a pretty good sprint race from yourself.
Yeah, been a long time. Yeah, okay. Nice race. I didn't have the best pit stops, miss my box, and there it went maybe a late charge for anything better than P3, but it's still okay. I did manage the race good and bring it home.
Now, one question I do want to ask you is, your teammate and yourself, a little door-to-door action through Ravazza at the final corner. You was hunting down Mackenzie for quite a while before the pit stops, and your teammate decided to send one up the inside.
Yeah, he didn't decide it. I think I was a little bit earlier on the brakes than usual, and it was a bit accidental, but he let me through a couple of laps before, so it's all okay between us.
We go to Valencia next week, obviously known for its being a bike circuit. What's your thoughts on Valencia?
I don't know if I'm going to be able to race there, so
fair enough.
I hope I will, but yeah.
Well, we'll see. Either way, pleasure speaking to you once again, Overtaker. It's been a while. Have a good one, and we'll hopefully see you next week.
Yeah, thank you.
And we'll jump over to Marinic as well then, who was P3 in that second race. Really good race from you as well. Good qualifying session and a good race. Good fight with Ben Rook. He kept you honest before the pit stops and managed to just jump you after the pit stops. So a good fight between you and Ben Rook tonight.
Yeah, he doesn't make it easy for anyone. Fair play on him. He didn't let me go a little bit in the second stint. I think he saw A, I got the pace, and B, he just wanted to protect the championship because we were quite close. But really good racing with him, yeah.
Good pace from yourself, though. You've got to be pleased with that podium. It looked like the BMW was the car choice for this week, really, to be fair. It seems to suit Imola quite well. So you've got to be happy with
finally.
P3. Yeah.
Finally. The car's great here, and just recently we had a endurance race, so I didn't have to practice all too much for it. I wish I did, because Mizin and Cairns in front were on a different level today, but yeah, still a good result all in all.
Indeed. We go to Valencia next week. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I haven't driven it in ages, actually, probably over a year, but yeah, I'm sure I'll get up to crack. It's my last one because I have to miss Donington, so
shame.
My last chance to make up some positions. At least get up to like 3, 4, 5 in the championship, but we'll see.
Indeed. Well, congratulations on the podium tonight, buddy. Enjoy it, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you, mate. Cheers. Bye.
And let's finish off the Platinum category. Mezin's just joined. Let's finish off Platinum with Mezin, race winner. Mezin, second place, race win in Platinum tonight. Pole position. Great night for yourself, really. Just another good display from the BMW and from yourself.
Yeah, I feel like I love Imola, although I'm really scared of this track. I really struggled to stay consistent there. I knew I could do a fast lap, but the question was, could I keep the pace up? I've just done quite a few races in GT3 on Imola, and that probably gave me a bit more confidence, experience, and I was able to realize my pace.
Good race for you, though. You're trying to sort of stay in this championship mix at the moment. You're now 83 points off, 82.5 points off of the championship lead. Very doable, considering that there's still a lot of points to play for. You need Ben to have a bad night, though, don't you, at the moment? You're sort of just trying to stay in there.
I would say I'm just trying to do my best because there are so many things happened in this championship I couldn't impact at all, and I was stressing about it. I was trying to keep my points up. I was thinking about points in general in the first half of this championship, but I just don't want to anymore. I'll just enjoy it.
Indeed,
that's it.
Well, we head to Valencia next week. What's your thoughts on that one?
I never drove this track in any sim, and it will be a lot of practice for me. I can say that I have plenty of time for practice, but I'm not sure how I'm gonna cope with this track. We'll see.
Well, we see what happens. Congratulations tonight, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you. Good night. Bye.
And we'll head into the Gold Championship now. Harris, we'll start with yourself. Not the race one you would have wanted there in terms of clawing a good amount of points while Class was away tonight. But race two, you certainly capitalised on that and managed to get yourself a gold race win.
Yeah, race one, I just feel like this season they've kind of obviously had us down a little bit with the points and things like that. But going into race two, obviously half decent qualifying, top end of the grid. Just kept myself focused and had a cracking little battle with Richie Michelle, which was nice. But I just extended my stint, just used what fuel was left, and luckily I managed to do the overcut on him. And once that I was in like a free space, I just was in the zone and just tried not to make any mistakes, which was what I did.
It was a cracking fight between yourself and Richie Michelle. He seemed to have your number going into turn one of Tamburello. We seemed to just cover that inside, and you just couldn't find that way past him before the round of pit stops. It looked a real tasty fight.
Yeah, it was probably one of the ones I've enjoyed most this season, to be honest. That turn one, I've got the overspeed on him, but his brakes are just so much better to get the turn in. And I tried the up and under a few times, but for whatever reason, coming onto that little straight, he just managed to creep ahead. It's getting slightly annoying towards the end of it, but I just had to deal with it the best I could. So yeah.
Well, we know it's your last race of the season next week at Valencia. You're off on your jollies for Donington Park. So what can you do at Valencia? You've kind of got to leave everything out there, haven't you, and just finish ahead of Class to extend that championship gap?
Yeah, pretty much. Just try and capitalise on everybody else's mistakes if they do come to that. Just try and get as many points as possible like I did tonight, and hopefully race one next week goes a little bit better.
Well, congratulations tonight. We'll see you next week.
Thank you. See you then.
And that wraps up the interviews now. I'm only joking. Matt Wright joins us as well. P2 and P1 for Matt Wright tonight. What a second half of the season you're having. You got to win at Snetterton. Obviously, it wasn't broadcast, so it doesn't count. And then a race within a second place in category tonight. You're some reason this BMW is starting to gel with you a little bit more.
I mean, we've all seen how strong it is around this track. And it was just sort of getting my head down, staying out of trouble, and just don't know what to say really. It's just, back to back sprint race wins. It does feel like it's coming together, but it's been a difficult season in this car. It's probably now given me my best results from any season. So,
well, I'll tell you before anybody else does. Well done, buddy. Congratulations. It was a solid race. So you was in a real train for a lot of tonight in that feature race, especially. with Mike, Leger, Harris, Richie Michelle. Hibbs was on you for quite a while early on, and then at the end, Richie Michelle closing you down and just couldn't get close enough at the very end to make a move.
Yeah, I don't know what happened with his pit stop. Something must have gone wrong with his pit stop because I jumped him by about 5 seconds.
Well, we assumed you'd not taken tyres, so that's obviously not the case.
No, no, I took tyres. But he must have messed up. And yeah, I was keeping an eye on that timing table, and he was closing down very quickly. I was sort of putting in a few good laps and keeping the gap, and then next time I looked, he was half a second closer again, and I think I had a bit of a false sense of speed. I kind of came out and I was closing the gap on Harris a little bit, and I thought, is this an opportunity to get on the back of him? But I had the chance to warm my tyres up and get him up to pressure, and I thought the first couple of laps I closed the gap a little bit, but then he just pulled away, and I think I just pushed too much at that point of the race.
Yeah.
Which the last 10 minutes I was getting a lot of understeer. The front was sliding a lot through a lot of the corners, and I think that just really allowed Richie Michelle to catch up on me. But luckily, the Beamer had the speed in the straight that I was able to pull away from him every time he sort of closed up on me. So got a little bit nervy, but we held it together.
Thoughts on Valencia next week?
I've always liked the track. I had a good run in there a few seasons ago, I think it was, and had a great race there, sticking top 6, I think. But I don't know how good this Beamer's going to be there. I feel like it's more of a mid-engine car track, sort of throwing around those corners. I don't know how this will be, but I'm sure Mesin will prove that it's strong there. But the rest of us, I'm not too sure.
Well, congratulations tonight. I'm going to give my driver of the day in Platinum to Cairns. I'm going to go opposite to Tanner. I think they both deserve it tonight. So Mesin and Cairns get the driver of the day in the commentary box for Platinum. And I'm going to have to say the same as Tanner for Gold driver of the day. I'm going to have to give it to Matt Wright, first and a second in category. And we're not used to seeing him up that high normally, so fair play to him. Great racing from him, so I'm going to give him driver of the day. Cairns gets overall driver of the day from the audience's vote. And don't forget, if you have enjoyed what you've seen here, please hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel if you are new, and hit the bell to be notified, as well as checking out in the description Design Manchester and Big Apple Logistics. Thank you for their continued support of the channel and the series this season. But that's all we have time for. Tanner, thank you very much for joining me in the commentary box. It's been a pleasure.
Sorry, I was with my dog. Yeah, it's been a pleasure commentating with you guys. Great race tonight. It definitely was more of a strategy one than it was hard racing, but we still had great fights all the way through the field. It was fun commentating. Hope everyone had a great time.
Brilliant. Well, hopefully you come back for many more in the future. We head to Valencia for the Who Darren Cup next week, as well as Pro-Am and Pro. You don't want to miss that, but the racing action hasn't ended here this week for SimPlay Motorsport. It is the 6 hours of Bathurst on Saturday. Yoshi Harris will be in the box for all the action of that one. You're not going to want to miss a single moment of it. We'll be live from about 3 p.m, I would want to say, about 4 p.m, for the action at Bathurst there. You don't want to miss any of that one. It should be a cracking 6 hours race of Bathurst. Let's see what will happen at that event on Saturday. And like we said, we'll be back with Valencia, the penultimate rounds of the championships next season. Can any titles be decided at the Spanish circuit, the home of Valentino, or where Valentino Rossi, his face is painted on the building where he made his name in MotoGP? Or will they go down once again to the Donington decider? We'll see you next time. Goodbye.